And all the controversy, all the talk that has divided many of these people fading right now as they are anxious to see how the #1 ranked team in the country will perform with a first-time starting quarterback, minus the impact plays and minus the leadership of Jameis Winston. And there is McGuire. He said, I know I'm going to be nervous, but his high school coach, for one, says he was born for moments like this, and he'll rise to the occasion.
Well, he's recruited to play at Florida State for a reason. He's not a former walk-on. He came in the same year Jameis Winston did, and he wasn't necessarily highly touted. Some the recruiting services had him as a 3-star. Some had him as a 4-star, but he's got ability. I've watched him throw. He can make all the throws, but until he gets out there where he's getting blitzed and he's reading coverage, you just don't know how he's going to respond. Nobody does, including Jimbo Fisher, until you see it right here, right now.
Again, Winston coming out for warm-ups in shoulder pads, told by Fisher to take him off. Clemson will get the ball first, so we'll get a look at their starting quarterback, as senior Cole Stout. It was a 3-year backup to Taj Boyd. He feels like this is his year, but there's urgency. Kirk, he's got to play well tonight with Deshaun Watson, the true freshman, breathing down his neck.
Yeah, he does. He's paid his dues, Chris. Sat behind Taj Boyd for 3 years, and he'll play tonight, but we're going to see Deshaun Watson in the 3rd or 4th series and see how he does as well.
The Groza Award winner to kick it off, Roberto Aguayo. The strong leg sophomore drives it out of the end zone.
Much talk as there is about the true freshman Deshaun Watson. Cole Stout, he won this job in the spring. He continued to play well throughout camp. He wasn't just given the job. He's earned it. The coaches are very defiant when you bring up the phenom Watson. They say that this is right now Cole Stout's team, and we're going to let him play this position and be the leader of this team. Now, with that being said, it's a matter of time, I think, till Deshaun Watson gets his chance and potentially could take over this team even this year.
Tigers from the 25. Send C.J. Davidson in motion, immediately pressure on Stout, who throws it away. Remember, last year in Death Valley, it was a disastrous start for the Tigers. The turnover in the first play.
Great point, Chris. I mean, that was something that the first play, with all the hype and hoopla of that game, first play a fumble, second play a touchdown, and the game was had a completely different feel from that point moving on. The crowd was out of the game.
Mario Edwards already announcing his presence, pressuring Stout in the first play. Short throw, caught near side by Sharon Peak. He's the top receiver on the Tigers, knocked out at the 30. It'll set down 3rd and 5. Here's the Chick-fil-A impact players.
We start with this Clemson offense, and we've talked a lot about the quarterbacks, but the receivers on the perimeter. Artavius Scott, a true freshman, and Mike Williams, a long, athletic wide receiver, going up against Jalen Ramsey on the outside, and Mario Edwards, who got pressure on Stout on that first play. He'll be trying to chase down and disrupt the timing with Stout and his receivers.
Knowles have struggled so far on 3rd down defense. They were great last year. They hand it off to Davidson, running right, trying to get the corner. Fighting near the marker, but shoved out short by Tyler Hunter.
There's the playmaker, Nate Andrews. When they go to 6 defensive backs, Nate Andrews does a good job of moving from his safety spot to a linebacker, and this time he and Tyler Hunter both involved in keeping the Clemson offense short of the first down. So the defense does their job to give Sean McGuire the football, maybe in pretty good field position.
Bradley Pinion, the junior punter. And Rashawn Green, veteran wide receiver, also a dangerous punt returner. Green calls for fair catch. And so we will see Sean McGuire in his opening start for Florida State, what he's dreamed about. 1st and 10 at the 26.
Do you go with a run to keep it simple, or do you give a guy with a lot of pressure a chance to throw the football and kind of work the jitters out? Knowing Jimbo Fisher, wouldn't surprise you to see him put the ball in the hands of his quarterback. Tell him what's your favorite play and give him a chance to run that.
First meaningful snap of his college career. Carlos Williams in the backfield behind him. And they'll pitch it to Williams. Clemson invading the backfield, and Stephon Anthony drops him for a loss.
One thing you cannot forget about is he's not just trying to work off the jitters. He's going up against one of the best defensive lines and one of the more fierce inside linebackers in the ACC. Grady Jarrett, number 50, Deshaun Williams on the inside. They do a good job of occupying blockers, opening it up for Stephon Anthony. That time he read that in a hurry. And this Clemson defense, Chris, because Winston's not in there, they're going to be attacking downhill against McGuire.
Very experienced veteran front seven. Play action. McGuire with his first pass of the night throws short, incomplete. He was looking for the tight end, his roommate, Nick O'Leary. Well covered.
I'll tell you, Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator from Clemson, is a veteran. He used to be at Oklahoma with Bob Stoops, came over here about 3 years ago. And one thing you know about his nature is to dial up the pressure. So not only does he have Vic Beasley and Corey Crawford, guys who can rush the quarterback with just 4, he likes to get creative, mix up a lot of different pressures and blitzes, especially on these kind of situations.
You got to believe they'll come after the young quarterback. Knowles, even with Winston, have struggled on third down in the first 2 games. They need 14. McGuire has time. Fires far sideline, incomplete. Looking for Rashad Green, but Mackenzie Alexander defended him, and 3 and out for both offenses. And there's Mr. Venables.
There's Venables showing some emotion. Both offenses 3 and out, and you know, with Sean McGuire on that third down, a little bit surprised that they even gave him a play to throw the ball up like that. He's got to be very careful against this defense of just putting it up in the air and hoping Rashad Green can make a play on the football. This secondary is way, way too athletic to make those kind of throws.
So the junior punter, Kason Beatty, to boot it away. Adam Humphries is the sure-handed punt returner. Typically he'll make a fair catch and turn it over to the offense. So Clemson takes over their second possession at the 41, and Sean McGuire, welcome to big-time college football as the man rocked in his first series as the Noles go 3 and out.
And win the big play ratio. You heard Dabo all week talking about last year, big plays hurt us. We didn't create big plays. They've got to win that aspect of this game.
Here's Stout, not known as the runner, with the keeper, picks his way, gets a couple blocks across midfield, and Cole Stout with a positive play as the Tigers now can run tempo as they move the sticks.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson's known as more of the runner, but I'll tell you, quarterback run game against this style of defense from Florida State has to be a factor for Clemson. Good job.
Get down at the end there.
Down, baby.
Now a first down throw. They try the screen, and it's complete. Off and running is Artavis Scott, the true freshman, still loose. Finally dropped at the 13, and Clemson threatening on their second possession.
Outstanding accuracy by the senior Stout. Puts the ball in front with a freshman. Scott can make a play on it. Also a really, really good block there by Leggett to open that up. But it was really the position of the throw by Cole Stout to the young freshman. And you can see what kind of speed Scott has when he gets it out in the open field.
Big game against South Carolina State, but now Scott back in his home state. Clemson in motion, and Stout's going to keep it again. This is a wrinkle the Noles perhaps didn't expect when 18 was in the game.
Well, we saw in the opening week against Georgia, he didn't run for a lot of yards, but there were some critical moments where he became almost the power runner with breaking in some new backs. And you think about it, Chris, you said he's about 225 to 230 pounds. He's been in this program for 4 years now. He knows the system very well. He's not intimidated. He's not afraid to lower his shoulder, and he picked up 5 big yards there.
19 yards and 2 carries, so 2nd and 5. Humphries comes in motion. They hand it straight ahead to Davidson, who picks his way for a short gain. It'll be 3rd and about 3.
You always see a lot of motion. You see a lot of different personnel groupings with this Clemson attack. What they're trying to do is create deception. They're trying to confuse the linebackers, trying to confuse the safeties. You'll see a jet sweep motion, and they're trying to get those linebackers to watch that and try to just get you to hesitate a second to get a better blocking angle for the boys up front.
Tigers need the 3-yard line. Play action. Stout throws it short and incomplete. Could have walked into the end zone. Jordan Leggett, but it was underthrown.
Well, it was a perfect time to call this play. Florida State had a blitz on with Terrence Smith. You see, he gets to Stout. That's what affected Stout and didn't let him get enough on it. But Stout's got to make that throw. He's got to go up in the air and put enough on that football. He recognized the blitz from Smith off the edge. He didn't just put the ball where it needed to be. That's an easy touchdown for Clemson. They've got to capitalize in the red zone with touchdowns and not field goals tonight if they think they're going to win on the road.
Amon Lakeup, first year as a starting kicker for Clemson, replacing one of their all-time greats at that position, Taylor Catanzaro. From 23 yards, he hooked it. Huge edge in the kicking department for the Seminoles, evident already. And the Tigers, after marching 53 yards, come up empty.
Talk about nerves for McGuire. Maybe we're seeing some nerves here for the special teams with Clemson. Pulls his head up and looks to see where the kick's going instead of keeping his head down and following through.
Ouch.
Dein One-Way-Ticket.
Welcome to the biggest show in sports.
Deine Green Card.
He starts his journey towards history tonight.
Für den American Way of Sports.
This is going to be an unbelievable battle.
Sport 1 US.
Just fantastic.
Ein Roadtrip voller Highlights. College Basketball. Und die NBA.
Brilliant.
College Football.
65 yards.
Und die NFL. IndyCar.
You're an IndyCar race winner.
Bullriding. Bowling. AMA Motocross. Und vieles mehr.
Oh, spectacular.
Alles exklusiv. Deine Green Card für den American Way of Sports. Sport 1 US.
Thing about Vontaze Burfict is when he gets the clamps on you, you're done.
Sacked by Vontaze Burfict, and he loses the football. The Bengals scoop it up. Vontaze Burfict, touchdown!
Unbelievable effort.
Burfict creeping up over center.
He is as instinctive and as intelligent a linebacker as I've seen.
Going for the game winner right here and right now.
So this is it. He can become the hero here.
How about this for pressure on a kicker?
You got to be tough as nails. Come out here and drill it.
Snap.
Good step.
Placement down.
Kick on the way.
That kick's long enough.
The new Dollar Cravings menu at Taco Bell. Live Más and Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Here's a piece of Death Valley in the sod cemetery. More than a half century, the Noles have taken a piece of an opposing team's field, and a big win after beating them. They bring it back and bury it there. So the second possession and a trick play. This is Rashad Green, but the Tigers aren't fooled. They drop him for a 3-yard loss.
That's great discipline by Clemson. Again, you're expecting anything to take the pressure off of McGuire, whether it's play calling or veterans stepping up and making plays. Should be noted again, Chris, you're not just losing the experience and the playmaking ability of Jameis Winston. You're losing the alpha of this offense, the leader of this offense. And in that huddle, who's going to step up and provide that?
On 2nd and 13. McGuire fires over the middle to O'Leary, who's hit after a short gain. Both first down plays so far tonight. The Noles have lost yardage, which puts pressure on the quarterback. And now another third down coming up.
Absolutely. Everybody gets focused on the third down, but it's really what happens on first down. And you're seeing a very veteran group on one side of the ball with Florida State, 4 of their 5 back from last year. And then on the other side, look at the experience. Vic Beasley gets most of the attention. Corey Crawford's outstanding. I think the best defensive lineman is number 50, Grady Jarrett, making his 27th start tonight. He's in the interior and can get really, really quick in the middle.
3rd and 6. Good protection. Complete over the middle and a first down. And the Noles will move the 6 as Jesus Bobo Wilson makes the catch.
This is what he's got to do, Chris, is throw in rhythm. Watch how he, 1, 2, 3, back throw, ball's out. That's what you're going to see Jimbo Fisher try to do tonight, where he doesn't have to get back there and wait and wait and wait. Travis Barnes came free, but he stayed focused downfield on Wilson. But what I love is on third down, he threw in rhythm. He didn't have to get back there and wait and wait and wait. For an inexperienced quarterback, that's tough to do in the pocket against this kind of defensive line. Got him back and got the ball out. Well executed.
After a first down loss, 2 completions to move the chains. One of the play clock got a hurry, and McGuire wasn't aware the Noles called time before the penalty.
Florida State. First time out of the first half.
You're going to see that
30
happen.
seconds.
You're going to see that happen. Timeout from the sideline. Jimbo Fisher was jumping up and down, trying to remind him, and this is just inexperience. That happens to a lot of quarterbacks. So we're going to try to, again, just pat him on the helmet, tell him, hey, just settle down. You can see Jameis back there trying to help as well.
Time to check with Robert Flores for an update from the studio. Robert? Expect anything here in Tallahassee, Robert. Long delay there in Ann Arbor. So McGuire gets the timeout. Kirk, it's got to be a comfort just to get that first down. A couple of nice throws.
Yeah, and I think the first series is a 3 and out. Didn't go well, but it settled the nerves. He took a big hit from Corey Crawford, and any quarterback will ever tell you, once you get hit, you kind of settle in and you start thinking about executing instead of worrying about the pressure that's associated with playing in this game.
Williams and Mario Pender flanking McGuire, who throws short and incomplete. Again, it was a low throw, and Kermit Whitfield couldn't come up with it. Here's Fisher talking about the nerves of his brand new starting quarterback tonight.
I expect Sean to be nervous the first time out, but I do expect a good performance, because I think what Sean will realize, he has the ability to do it. He has a tremendous arm. He can make all the throws. His arm's just as strong as Jameis's. I mean, he can make the throws. He's athletic. He played in the wing T offense, so he can run. He's practiced very well. And I think he'll go out and play well, because I think the guys around him, we have a good offensive line, we have tight end, we have a great receiver, we have good backs. You know, I think those guys will take care of him, much like they did Jameis the first time he ever played.
McGuire drops back, drops it short to Williams, who has blockers. Carlos Williams into the secondary. Rumbling inside the 35 of Clemson. A huge gain on the screen before Corey Crawford finally tracked him down.
Nick O'Leary was aligned to the right of the formation, along with another tight end and another receiver. So it occupied the attention of most of the linebackers. You saw that they broke to the offense's right, and the timing of this screen for an inexperienced quarterback was outstanding. Jameis knows it. Great call by Jimbo Fisher, but the offensive line, they were patient. Also, nice job by McGuire waiting and then making the throw.
27 yards to the converted linebacker, now running back Williams. Handed off now in short gain.
I really believe Carlos Williams is not just a big key tonight, but a big key to this season. Dante Freeman was the featured back last year, and kind of a back that had such a quickness and acceleration, could fit through the small seams. And Carlos Williams is more of a power back, more of a one-cut, kind of a straight line type of runner, and yet to really get on track.
We didn't see him against the Cowboys in the opener really get the running game going, despite all the hype of the offensive line. McGuire's going to throw it on 2nd and 7, fires incomplete. Some confusion apparently between Pender and O'Leary over there.
I think he made the right read. He had his roommate, by the way, Nick O'Leary, wide open. He came off of Mario Pender and made the right read, but just got to be more consistent with his accuracy.
So they're in field goal range for Aguayo. He's only missed once in his career, but they need 7 to convert on 3rd down. See if the Tigers bring pressure. They're showing it right up the A gap. They come after McGuire. standing in there and finally under pressure throws as he's hit by Stephon Anthony. Incomplete, 4th and 7.
Well, there's a great job of bringing pressure. They bring the middle linebacker, Anthony, right up the middle, and he fights through that potential block. What a great job of getting pressure. Gave him a different look, kind of a zone pressure. They actually drop a defensive end. I think they created confusion there, Chris. Even though you have a veteran offensive line, gave him a different wrinkle there on 3rd down and got the pressure they needed.
And now the man who has made 27 of 28 field goals in his career has a long one, just inside 50 yards. He is scary good. He's going to play 15 years in the NFL. Roberto Aguayo from 50 knows
that was unacceptable. That was a little bit off to the right there. I'm used to seeing it.
There's a difference in kickers tonight, Kirk. I'm telling you. McGuire counseling the quarterback after that last series.
Say whatever you want about Jameis Winston. From a football standpoint, with a suspension, he's involved. He's not sitting on the bench. He's trying to help not just McGuire, but the receivers, the line, when they come to the sideline.
This is the track star, C.J. Davidson, but he barely gets out of the starting blocks. Dropped at the 17. Last possession for the Tigers. It should have been 7. Should have been 3. Came up empty.
Yeah, 3rd down right here. Had a wide open tight end, Leggett just underthrew him. Had to settle for the field goal. You're thinking, all right, first drive, they get 3 points on the road. Hitting. Lakiff misses it, so they come away after an 8-play drive with nothing. And now they're down, and they got to see what they can do again with Cole Stout back for this 2nd series.
Kicker is always compared to a golf swing. He just sculled that thing.
No doubt.
Ugly tee shot.
You and I are very familiar with that.
We are. This is the freshman, Wayne Gallman, to the left of Stout, who's quarterbacked all 3 series so far. And again, the quarterback keeping it on 1st down, getting the corner, and not a bad gain. That's the 3rd time Stout's kept it.
They're going to go tempo here, but I love the call from Chad Morris just because with the jet motion, the linebackers are concerned about the motion. They're concerned about the ball fake on the zone read, and then Stout just pulls it out because you're not expecting him. He's got enough speed. If he can pick up 4 and 5 yards when he runs that play, that's what they're looking for, just to remind this defense that it's there.
And the handoff to Wayne Gallman. He's a 205-pound freshman, a redshirt freshman who's averaged 7.5 a carry in the young season. It sets up a 3rd down.
This is where
very short.
Yeah, this is where Clemson wants to live, and that's why a run by Stout to start a series, another run by Gallman. You get into those 3rd and 2, 3rd to 4 type of opportunities for Stout and for this offense. They're going to have a lot of success tonight compared to facing those 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8s against this speed of this Florida State defense.
Play clock, got to hurry. There's a lot of shifting in the formation, and Stout does get the timeout just before the penalty. So a 3rd down and 3 coming up for the Tigers when we come back. 2 need 3 yards here. Here's Chad Morris dialed up out of a timeout. Stout again keeping it in traffic, bang down short of the 1st down. So again a quarterback run, but Reggie Northrup wouldn't have it.
No, Reggie Northrup's in there, and again Nate Andrews. The play just felt like it took too long to develop, and that's what you have with Stout. He's waiting for the block because the tight end has to come around from the right, J.J. McCullough. But in waiting for that block, you're dealing with a very, very fast defense that's coming downhill either for the running back or the quarterback.
You know what Clemson fans are saying, Kirk, let's see Watson if we're going to run the quarterback so much tonight. We may see the freshman soon.
Yes, you will.
Pinion with the long punt and the fair catch made at the 25-yard line. Back to Robert Flores for an update. Trickery there for Stoops and the Sooners.
Looked like the Indiana Hoosiers on the road there in Morgantown. How about Indiana beating Missouri today?
Big Ten over the SEC. That is a news flash.
last time you said that?
McGuire, will he take his first shot downfield on first down? Has a man open and a leaping catch is made. Wilson inside the 40-yard line. He beat Robert Smith, the safety.
Well, what Robert Smith got occupied with is Nick O'Leary, the tight end. Watch Nick O'Leary right here. Watch what he does when he goes out. He occupies this man right here, and that opens it up for Wilson. You see, they just flooded the zone. They had one too many receivers in that area, and it opened it up nicely. And again, how about McGuire throwing in rhythm there? One hitch, the ball is out. That's the best ball he throws, the deep ball.
It was a 36-yard gain, now a whistle and a false start.
Prior to snap, false start, number 70 on the offense. 5 yards, first down.
Wilson was not eligible. An academic issue sat out the opener against Oklahoma State, but Fisher mentioning he's going to be an increasingly big part of this receiving corps as they try to find complementary weapons. You know Rashad Green will do his job this year. Got to find some other guys.
They have to. I mean, you lose Kelvin Benjamin and Kenny Shaw, and they need to find the vertical passing game, whether Winston's in there or McGuire. And that's why anytime you see that ball thrown downfield, it opens up things for Rashad Green underneath.
He's a 1st and 15 throw. McGuire takes another shot downfield and overthrows his wide receiver Wilson that time.
It's a really good matchup with Wilson's acceleration against Mackenzie Alexander, the freshman that came on last year. Number 2, one of the more highly touted Clemson players that they've recruited. Got to go all the way back to maybe DeQuan Bowers. The last time they recruited somebody as highly touted as Mackenzie Alexander. They thought he'd play last year, but of course he had that groin injury and had to keep him on the sideline and redshirted him last year.
And Wilson, the latest to get counseling from Winston on the sidelines. And 2nd and down. Sets up as a screen, but it's broken up. Batted down at the line of scrimmage. Tavares Barnes, one of the defensive ends in the rotation, got there quickly.
But remember, one of their bigger plays was the screen earlier. Watch Anthony in the middle of this. He reads it right away and blows it up. You got it, Barnes knocking it down, but if that ball is thrown, 42 Anthony is out there hitting linemen. You see him right there fighting through Trey Jackson. That play didn't have any chance, whether it's Barnes or Anthony. Well defended that time by Clemson.
So they need 15 on 3rd down. Could gain short of that and still be in Aguayo's field goal range. Play clock at 3. They just get it away. Immediate pressure from McGuire, who has to unload it before Anthony, who's been active tonight, arrived.
They're bringing the same blitz right up the middle. There's a miscommunication with the center. You see the center this time, Barron, he looks like he steps to his left, thinking he's going to have help to his right. Clemson's found a weakness in his pass protection, and it's right through the middle, the #1 area that this Florida State defense has to protect, either with those 2 guards coming down or a running back helping out. Second time we've seen Anthony slip right through the middle of that offensive line.
As you expected, Venables dialing up plenty of pressure in the inexperienced quarterback.
Another timeout here for Clemson, some confusion.
Sweeney looks less than pleased about that. Down to Heather Cox.
Guys, look for a new quarterback for Clemson. Freshman Deshaun Watson warming up, strapping up his pads, definitely going in, getting some words of encouragement from his teammates and his offensive coordinator, Chad Morris. And remember, Coach Sweeney said, this is a positive for us. We do not have a quarterback controversy. From a coaching standpoint, we love where we are. There's a high level of urgency at the quarterback position. He also says that Watson plays with poise and calmness, unusual to a freshman, ran a very similar offense in high school, and he expects a very poised freshman on the field in this next series.
Committed as a sophomore to Clemson, early enrollee, so he was here for spring practice. His first drive against Georgia, between the hedges, takes him down, makes a check at the line, and a freakish throw to peak for a touchdown pass. That was his first drive as a college quarterback.
And the throw before that to Mike Williams was a fade that was beautiful as well. Everybody knows that Deshaun Watson's the future. You just wonder, when is the future? Is it tonight? Beginning tonight? And it's a delicate situation Dabo Sweeney has with a veteran in Cole Stout and a more talented true freshman in Deshaun Watson.
High and short kick from Beatty. Humphreys makes a fair catch at the 12. So not good field position, but they have a lot of trust in this guy. He will be a star quarterback. Just whether or not it's going to be tonight later this year or next year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 6'2", 205 pounds. He came in January, so he went through spring football. That's important to understand. Georgia high school record for all time in passing yards. Dual threat guy, can run it, can throw it. Just a guy that they're very, very confident in his ability and the poise, Chris, for a true freshman. The way he played at Georgia gives you confidence that he'll play the same way tonight as far as the way his energy is throughout the night.
And a handoff to Gallman. He's dropped for a loss. Hit hard. Aaron Smith got there. Yeah, only 37 plays now in the college career of Deshaun Watson, but he's led 5 touchdown drives already.
He's had some opportunities, and you're going to see him give the ball. You can also see him pull it out. Now, when Taj Boyd would run the football over the last couple of years, he mainly ran like quarterback zone play or a quarterback power play, not a whole lot of zone read where he's reading the defensive end. You'll see more of that with Deshaun Watson, and the reason that's important is how that impacts the defense and the numbers they have to commit to the line of scrimmage.
How about the second big hit tonight from Mario Edwards Jr.? They hand it off on the edge to Davidson. Can't really use the speed as he's driven out by Tyler Hunter. So now 3rd and long for the true freshman quarterback in his first series.
But they were able to
3rd and 4.
Yeah, able to get a block there by Hopper that actually allowed Davidson to get around the corner to pick up some yards. So it is 3rd and manageable here for the freshman. Because this is where Mike Williams, who's into the boundary up at the top, the sophomore who has size, he's got to be able to make plays and win into the boundary for this offense to really be humming for Chad Morris.
Cano showing pressure. The freshman back to throw. Looked that way. Now tries to escape but cannot get away. A flag is down. Mario Edwards brought him down. A couple of flags in the secondary. Like Scott Kim trying him back without his helmet.
It was 2 players just going at each other in a fist fight. I don't know if it's going to be on both, calling it on both the offense and the defense. Scott was clearly involved in that.
True freshman ended up losing his hat after the scuffle.
Yeah, he and Ronald Darby went back and forth.
We have live ball fouls, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the offense, number 3. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 3 on the defense. Those fouls offset. Replay 3rd down.
So Scott will come out, but he'll get another chance at 3rd down here.
You got a true freshman for Clemson. He's making a block on right away. You don't come into a game and try to intimidate a defensive back. What you didn't see after he went up in the face is Darby took exception to that, went back at him. They started literally swinging at each other back and forth. So it's the right call to call it offsetting. But now for Clemson, it gives them another shot.
Empty backfield after the motion, and Watson again tries to escape. This time the freshman does get away, shows the elusiveness, scampers out for a 1st down, but another flag down.
That's a hold that time by Clemson. Yermo, I think, the center.
Holding, number 57 on the offense. Previous spot, half a distance, 3rd down.
And good call, Kirk. They've had to reshuffle this offensive line. Sweeney and company looking for answers up there.
And there you saw what the freshman can do when things break down. He wanted to go to Mike Williams. When we talked about Mike Williams into the boundary, he's got to make plays. He got jammed at the line of scrimmage and couldn't get off with P.J. Williams. So he had to come off of it right away and improvise. And when he improvises, he's pretty dangerous. He picked up the 1st down, but the holding call, of course, brings it back.
Now do they trust the freshman to throw from his own 8-yard line on 3rd and 14? It's a 3rd crack at this 3rd down play. He looks calm, doesn't he?
He sure does. I don't know what his heart's doing, but his eyes look calm.
Now they hand it off. So the safe call, and Davidson trying to get away, makes a man miss, and Clemson runs the ball and converts it on 3rd and 14.
How about that? I mean, Florida State's blitzing. Look at off the edge. There's nobody left in the middle. They came with pressure from the outside, and what a call that time by Chad Morris, because it opened up once he got by the initial surge of Florida State. He had room to run, but it took that extra second and third effort to be able to pick up that first down. He was about 2 yards short at the initial contact.
And Charles Kelly loves to blitz a lot, but Chad Morris knows that. Good call against the pressure. So a first down. And Watson with a fake, takes a shot over the middle, has a man wide open, and it's Williams running free into Seminole territory. So a promising start for this drive, the first tonight for the true freshman quarterback.
How about the throw over Nate Andrews, 29, just sitting there waiting, kind of robbing right over top. He might, let's see if he cleared him by 2 or 3 inches. On the move, perfect spiral, just over the top of Nate Andrews, and great concentration by Mike Williams. So they were way back inside their own 15-yard line. Now they're in Florida State territory.
33 yards on the catch for Williams. First down throw, it's a screen. Humphreys hit, falls forward for just a few. You can see the electric talent, the playmaking ability of Watson.
There's a different feel, and we talked all week that if they're going to win this game, we're going to have to see Deshaun Watson in the game. And no due respect to Cole Stout, it's just a different skill set. The question with a true freshman is the moment too big? He comes in and he hears the tomahawk chop. Does he get intimidated? So far, we've seen him play in Athens for a few series. We've seen him tonight. Doesn't look like the moment's ever too big for this guy.
Another throw over the middle again. A receiver wide open and running down inside the 20-yard line. The catch is made by Jermaine Hopper.
I think this Florida State defense is surprised right now with this quarterback's ability to throw the ball. Their eyes are looking in the backfield. Watch the linebackers. They're kind of looking back there, and while they're looking, things are happening behind them. There's no awareness. They're not looking around and communicating. They're just staring at Deshaun Watson.
So Stout ran a lot, and now Watson is throwing a lot. And the Noles are caught off balance. Watson in the pocket, over the middle, overthrew his receiver. Two guys kind of converging on a post route. Peak was in the neighborhood. He's the guy that caught the touchdown pass from Watson in that first drive against Georgia. Seconds winding down in the first quarter.
Yeah, this is the first time we've seen the offensive line allow some pressure to get to him. Casher gets a little bit of pressure coming through the inside of Joe Gore.
Handoff inside. Oh, he kept on the fringe and taking a couple of shots and falling forward is Watson. So Clemson, for the second time tonight, threatens deep in Florida State territory. The first time they came up empty, and after the first quarter, 3-0 Florida State. Back to Tallahassee after this message and a word from you. So the Tigers, heavily hyped, true freshman prodigy quarterback, led him on a 75-yard march deep into Florida State territory as we begin the second quarter with a 3rd and 5. Watson, play action, still has it. Launches it for the end zone, way overthrown as Leggett was well defended by Tyler Hunter. Field goal try coming up.
I like the play selection on this drive and really what we've seen from Dabo Swinney. You know, they have 6 different receivers that have caught a football, so they're not locking in on one guy. They're making the Florida State defense defend everybody. And there it was just take a shot and put it somewhere where either your receiver can make it or the ball is thrown away. And let's see if they can capitalize this time in the red zone and try to at least get a field goal.
Lakeup badly hooked the chip shot before this one from 30 yards. He corrects his mistake. Looks less nervous there. Knocks it through from 30 and ties the game at 3. Deshaun Watson, is this his game for the Clemson Tigers? We'll see. Tallahassee. Deshaun Watson goes 4 of 6 for 66 yards. Kirk has 1 rush for 5 yards. Exciting to see a true freshman undaunted by all of this. He did well against Georgia on the road, but then he didn't finish the game. You wonder what they'll do now with him after that drive, 75 yards.
Yeah, you're right. I think he'll stay in, is my hunch. The way he drove the team down the field, they were pinned back inside their own 10, converted on that 3rd and 13. There's a presence about him that I think they're going to need tonight to be able to win. The other thing is, Chris, twice now they've been down in the red zone. They only have 3 points. They're going to have to do a better job tonight, no matter who the quarterback is, if they want to win the game.
2 yards deep in the end zone. It's brought out. And Kermit Whitfield drops at the 30-yard line. So what has the Tigers defense done to rattle Sean McGuire so far?
They brought pressure, which you knew they would do. They've got a great front four, but on third down, we've seen Stephon Anthony coming on the blitz. He's beaten Austin Barron twice on third down. Similar look. They're showing it again. Instead of bailing, they bring it again. You see Barron's a little bit surprised, but he's also had a safety on his left shoulder. Didn't know which way the blitz might come, and right at the snap, they brought Anthony. So that's something to keep in mind. On third down, the blitz pressures that Brent Venables is dialing up.
McGuire 4 of 12 hasn't yet found the top receiver at Florida State, Rashad Green, and they hand it off for a short gain on first down.
It's nice to see Vic Beasley make a play against the run. Sometimes he just kind of disappears, Chris, just to be candid. You expect him on third down to get in a sprinter stance and make a play, blind side of the quarterback. But you know, the coaches talk about how he's worked over the last couple years to become more of a complete player. And that's something that I think for him to be able to take that next step at the next level, he's not just going to be a guy that can rush the quarterback. He's going to have to show that he can be stout and physical against the run. That time he made a nice play closing down on the running back.
Good matchup against Cameron Irvin, the touted left tackle for Florida State tonight. They've studied each other, and Williams another short gain. So 2 runs set up a 3rd and long for McGuire.
And what's different about that is coming into this drive, they had called 15 plays. 12 were passes. So they had been relying on Sean McGuire, even though that was a question, putting him in a position to try to be successful. This time they say, you know what, let's try to control the line of scrimmage on 1st and 2nd down. The only problem is when it doesn't work, now you're in 3rd down. Remember, this is where they've been dialing up some blitzes.
Knowles again has struggled to convert 3rd downs in this young season so far. They show pressure again. McGuire will be dropped for a loss. It's Beasley who's got him back at the 20-yard line. Anthony joining him as well. The Tigers coming after the young quarterback.
Yeah, both the linebackers came on the blitz up the middle. The problem is the defense, the offensive line squeezes to the middle, and you forget about the best pass rusher. It's not Stephon Anthony. Watch the speed and how quickly he goes right around Cam Irving. Cam Irving was projected to be a 2nd-round pick, decided to come back. They go right around him with the speed. That's what Vic Beasley's known for, obviously, as a pass rusher.
Irving has started every game in this 18-game winning streak, and Beasley told me he's got strengths, but he's got weaknesses too, and I know what they are.
We just saw it.
He's looking forward to this matchup.
It's called speed off the edge.
So with 3 and out and a booming punt here from Beatty. Drives Humphreys way back inside the 30-yard line, but the Tigers go back to work. Tied at 3 in Tallahassee. Teammates definitely appreciate this softer side of his talent.
I was going to say the softer side. Here's the football side of him, the violent side of him.
On 1st down, it's Adam Choice, one of the many talented true freshmen. Comes from Thomasville, Georgia, which is just north of here across the border.
That last drive was an outstanding drive by Clemson. Chris, you brought up, boy, we wonder if we'll see Watson come back, because the last time we saw him playing a big game against Georgia, he got that 3rd or 4th series, then he went away for a while. This time has a nice series. They bring him back, and I think you're going to see him play probably the rest of this football game.
And 2nd and 8, they hand it off inside and hit immediately as the true freshman dropped for a loss. Welcome to big time college football, says Niall Lawrence Stample.
Not getting any push at all. Boy, I tell you, a guy that needs to be talked about is not just Niall Lawrence Stample, but Eddie Goldman, number 90. Look at him fight through that double team. Just an enforcer. Florida State last year, Timmy Jernigan. They always have great players in the interior, big bodies with great quickness. This year, that's Eddie Goldman, number 90.
Got a true freshman back in on pass protection on 3rd down, but Watson protected well for a while, takes off, throws on the run, complete for a 1st down. Adam Humphreys got the feet down, and here goes the tempo offense as they move the sticks.
Here's what you don't see from a freshman quarterback, or a lot of college quarterbacks, is you scramble and then you keep your eyes downfield. You're thinking, oh, he's going to panic, he's just going to run, or he's going to throw it away. Eyes downfield, and he finds a wide open Adam Humphreys.
Impressive, to say the least, for a true freshman. Davidson burrows forward. 8 drives he's engineered, 5 touchdowns and a field goal. That's what he's done in his career.
Yeah, a great job of keeping the play alive, but I love that he kept his eyes downfield, and an outstanding, I didn't mean to shortchange Adam Humphries, an outstanding catch by number 13. He's only 5'10". It took every inch there, and plus the hops there to go up and make that play.
Very steady receiver. Humphries playing in his 43rd game tonight. Davidson on the handoff, powers ahead, first down, and finally brought down at the 35. And again, Tigers on the march.
You know, former long jumper, you don't expect him to be that physical, but he's bouncing through there. A great hole that was opened up there by that offensive line. Getting a little bit of a push now. You make a conversion, you throw the ball. Florida State's defense, hands on their hips. Tempo, big part of what Clemson's trying to do tonight.
Watson and the Tigers have taken this crowd out of the game for the moment. On first down, Davidson again. As you said, he came here on a track scholarship, but very much a football player.
Well, there's no doubt about that. And I found it very interesting that Chad Morris told us that, you know, when we're able to go out and get our first down to start drives, that we do a very good job of converting those drives into points. And that's a big thing. They had so many 3-and-outs against Georgia. Just getting that first down to get that tempo going.
Watson keeps it, throws, almost intercepted. He chucked it into traffic, and Nate Andrews had it in his hands, couldn't hold it.
Just a playmaker. Nate Andrews is always around the football. That time not able to hold on to it. Came pretty quickly there off the hands of J.J. McCullough. The ball's thrown on the money.
Off the knee.
Yeah, well, it was thrown, hit him in the chest, and then it goes off the knee of Andrews.
Another third down. They need 9. And the noise is back. Knowles rush 5. Watson fires deep over the middle, leaping attempt by Humphries, but it's incomplete. He's not afraid to take a shot.
No, not at all. And he loves that throw over the middle. He's just a little bit late. The pressure, a little bit of a delayed blitz this time from Terrence Smith. You see it to the left there. He fights through that freshman running back and actually forces that throw. But he's been hit a number of times sitting in that pocket, waiting to that last second. Smith lays into him there on third down.
Bradley Pinion will try to pin Florida State deep. Green at his 10-yard line. Very high, very short kick, a fair catch. But again, the Noles pinned back with poor field position. You're watching the ACC.
The split safeties. What I want you to watch how you have man coverage. The ball at this point is thrown late, but you see all the man-to-man coverage with Deshaun Watson. Look for them to find some quarterback run game later on third down if Florida State plays man-to-man. That could be a big play for Watson.
So McGuire backed up and they handed off to Mario Pender, who scored a touchdown on his first career carry against Oklahoma State. To Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, the change in quarterback here at starting for Sean McGuire also resulted in a change of plans for McGuire's family. They had given away their tickets to this game so that his dad Kevin could take his sister Mackenzie on an official lacrosse visit to Mary Washington College in Virginia. When everything changed, they found a way to get tickets to the game. 12+ hour drive later, the family has convened here in Tallahassee to watch Sean make his first ever start.
And they're on their feet, but they've definitely looked concerned in the early going. McGuire batted down at the line of scrimmage. Diving interception attempt. Beasley couldn't corral it and get the foot in bounds. But again, the Clemson pressure harassing McGuire.
Well, we're going to focus a lot and talk a lot about Sean McGuire, but there's a developing story here that's something we have to pay attention to as well. And this is just great coverage. There's nowhere to go with the football. And this is where inexperience really can hurt you as a quarterback. He's waiting and waiting and waiting. Even the receiver that looked like was open downfield was covered. Florida State has negative 12 yards rushing. We talked about how do you take the pressure off an inexperienced quarterback. You run the ball. Pender has 2 yards. Carlos Williams -1. Rashad Green -2. They have negative 12 as a team. It's putting more and more pressure on this passing game and an inexperienced quarterback in Sean McGuire.
Longest run from scrimmage for Fisher's
timeout.
offense.
Florida State. Second timeout. First half.
Is just 3 yards.
Timeout.
So McGuire He struggled 4 of 13, faces a 3rd and 12. As we check back with Robert Flores. Wow, that would be a milestone win for Dan Mullen. He's not yet beaten LSU or Alabama. Long way to go, but maybe this is a Dak Prescott coming out night.
Well, you go into Baton Rouge at night. Lee Corso always says you better be a heck of a lot better than LSU if you're going to get out of there with a win. 31-10.
So far they have been.
Yeah. All the hype about Ole Miss and Mississippi State and both of these teams. This is their year to compete in the SEC West. Dan Mullen squad making a statement.
All right, Kirk, what do you call here on 3rd and 12 with a quarterback who's struggling and an offensive line that can't keep the pressure out?
Either a quick throw or a draw to Carlos Williams, and this is not where you want to make a mistake.
The average distance they've needed on 3rd down, 10 yards.
And they're 1 for 5.
At his own goal line, McGuire trying to buy time. Fires low and incomplete, and he came across the line of scrimmage, so it'll be a flag. They'll decline, but the struggles continue as Fisher is trying to find a way to evade that Clemson pressure. And if his heartbeat was fast at the beginning of the game, it's even faster now.
Yeah, that'll be 5 yards and a loss of down. So the punt.
Illegal forward pass. Number 10 on the offense. That's 5 yards from the spot of the foul. Loss of down. 4th down.
Yeah, he was clearly across the line. Wasn't even really close.
What I just say, the previous play, it's one thing to do it in practice when you're backing up Jameis Winston. You take the ones this week. He does a nice job here. Everybody's covered, and he's waiting and waiting and waiting for somebody to develop, to open up, and he's 3 or 4 yards across the line of scrimmage. I don't blame him for trying to wait and trust his receivers, but at some time there has to be a mental clock to say you just throw it away, cut your losses, punt the football away. One of these times, if he waits and waits and waits, throws into coverage, they're going to intercept it.
Beatty backed up to the end line there. Boots it away, already his 4th punt. Humphreys that time doesn't call a fair catch and takes a big shot near midfield. But still, Clemson, with that defense roaring so far in Tallahassee, takes over in plus territory in a 3-3 game. Conference opener for both teams. So our athletic trivia question: which team, the last reigning national champion to lose its conference opener? Got to go back before that 7-year reign of the SEC, I think.
Who's coming up with these questions?
Who's coming up with them?
It's pretty broad there, don't you think?
So at the 47 of Florida State, Deshaun Watson back to work, keeps it in the zone read, hit hard after a short gain. Heather reporting that Dabo Swinney was just talking to Cole Stout, who started at quarterback. A few unsuccessful series. They came up empty. It wasn't his fault. They missed the field goal, but he missed a chance for a touchdown pass. Appearing to deliver the message that we're going to go with Deshaun Watson for now.
Frustrating for him to hear that. You admire Dabo Swinney for going over and acknowledging and talking to him about it during the game as opposed to maybe after the game. But very predictable that you might see Deshaun Watson a lot tonight if they were going to be able to compete and win.
Watson takes a shot near sideline, fighting back for the ball. Good battle, and it's caught inside the 20-yard line by Hopper.
Well, it's a great job by Hopper of adjusting back. He's going up against one of the best corners in the country. The ball is thrown back, and I'll tell you, P.J. Williams never found the football. Hopper did. That's why Hopper was able to come back on a back shoulder fade by the freshman, throwing the ball perfectly.
Beat an excellent corner in Williams, who sat out the last game with a hamstring, but says he's 100% tonight. And Davidson fights his way for a short gain. No, the comparison pretty clear. Deshaun Watson inherited bad field position, drove his team 75 yards for a field goal.
And that's why you're seeing him stay in the game. If he would have come into this game for his one series, that third series, and not done well, they probably would have gone back to Cole Stout. But he played well, and at this point, on the road, playing a #1 team in the country, you go with the hot hand. Clemson's been inside this red zone a couple times, and they've only gotten one field goal. I think you'll see them be more aggressive down here with their play calling.
Chad Morris has a tendency to be an aggressive play caller. Some motion. Watson keeps it, hit up high and dropped short. Jalen Ramsey, the leader of that defense, the nickelback, knocked him down.
Just too slow, and great job by, watch 44 off to the right here. Walker getting into the backfield. He disrupted the timing of that play. Really, really nice job. He didn't make the tackle, but he did a good job of disrupting the timing and allowed the rest of the defense to come in and make the play.
3rd and 6. Watson, near side throw, caught. Jordan Leggett fighting down near the goal line, stopped short, but it's 1st and goal, and another 3rd down conversion for the young quarterback.
I think Walker 44 gets confused here. He starts to think about pressure. He sees a back coming into his face as well, and the tight end slides right behind him. It's the 2nd time we've seen Leggett slide out into the flat against a pressure look where there's man-to-man coverage, and nobody picks up the tight end. The first time they missed him for a touchdown. That time they hit him for a 1st down to the 1-yard line.
Sophomore tight end back in his home state delivers a 1st and goal. DJ Howard is behind Watson. High snap. They get it to him. Powering toward the goal line. Lunging. Touchdown Clemson. And the 2nd scoring drive engineers by Deshaun Watson.
How about Watson? You said a high snap. Good job of getting the football into the hands there of his running back and into the end zone for the touchdown. This time they capitalize in the red zone. They get the touchdown, but it got to go back to the previous play where they found that tight end with broken coverage there. Leggett picked up that 1st down on the 3rd down play.
They cash in the good field position for the 1st touchdown of the night, and for the first time in about 655 minutes of play. Going back to last September against Boston College, Florida State trails in a regular season game. All right, Kirk, as Jameis Winston talks to Randy Sanders, the quarterback coach over there, time to answer our Affleck trivia question cooked up by Mr. Felica, last reigning champ to lose its conference opener. Did you want to take?
No, I'll let you take it.
It's a toughie. I think it's going to have to predate the run of SEC. No, it's LSU losing that early season game to Auburn, 2004. Jimbo Fisher, offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. So there was a tie-in tonight.
No, of course. This is an amazing start to this game in his first half, where Florida State came into this game. They found out last night that they weren't going to just have Jameis Winston out the first half of the whole game. All of a sudden, Jimbo Fisher's got to figure out what he's going to do with the game plan. They knew they had to run the football, and if they can't get any better at controlling the line of scrimmage, they're going to really struggle in this game tonight.
And a short field goal, trying to make a play, is Whitfield, and they'll set up at the 29-yard line. Jimbo Fisher over there talking to his offensive line, trying to get those guys fired up. Monday night, Geno Smith and the Jets host Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears off a big win over the 49ers. Monday Night Football, 8:15 on ESPN, also available on the Watch ESPN app.
In fact, Florida State has run 21 plays, 13 for either 0 or negative yards.
How much of this is the offensive line, good Clemson defense, or is it the inexperienced quarterback and not Winston? Here's a 1st down chance for McGuire, who again is pressured, steps up and delivers a strike to O'Leary, who makes a catch on the near sidelines for a 1st down. Roommate to roommate.
Well, it's a good call, play action on 1st and 10. See if they take a look at this to see if he had possession of the ball. Crossing route, they're hoping to be able to pick up the corner there and rub the safety as he crossed over. Let's see if he holds on to this football.
Definitely bobbled it, collects it there, and appears to have that left foot down.
Looks like the left foot did get down. Great effort there by O'Leary.
See if that can spark this offense. It's Carlos Williams with a first down carry. They cannot run the ball against this Tigers front tonight so far.
Well, again, Vic Beasley, Deshaun Williams, Grady Jarrett, Corey Crawford. It's an outstanding front four, and you have a linebacker in the middle, and Stephon Anthony, 42, who made that play again, who has been all over the field, whether it's been blitzing or when they run the ball. If you want to find out where the ball is, watch 42 with the white jersey on, because he's going to lead you to it almost every single time.
Knowles, with this veteran offensive line, they consider themselves the best group in the country. Certainly expected to have a strong ground game this season. Hasn't happened yet. McGuire fires far side. It's a high throw, overthrown, incomplete. They tried to get it to Williams.
The reason not being able to run the football is so big tonight is not just the inexperience of Sean McGuire, but you have a defensive coordinator, Brent Venables. When he starts to feel that Jimbo Fisher's aborting the run, we can't control things up front. What Brent Venables is going to do, he's going to continue to get creative, mixing up his looks, giving this offensive line a lot of different pressures and making the quarterback erratic and uncomfortable in the pocket. When you become too predictable, you're going to get more pressure, and it's tough on a young quarterback to be able to execute against that.
Still hasn't found Rashad Green, who had 11 catches against Oklahoma State. On third down, pressure off the edge. McGuire spins free, but now falls down at the 40. Coming in a hurry was Martin Jenkins off the edge.
Well, he does a nice job of disguising this. I happen to be looking at him the whole time. You can see he's almost in a sprinter stance. Look at the head of the inexperienced quarterback. He has no idea that he's coming out. Carlos Williams, his back, he's not blocking anybody. I don't know if Carlos Williams is supposed to check to the outside. He didn't block anybody, and it allowed Jenkins to come free, and he was at a full sprint. McGuire saw him at the last split second to avoid potentially a big hit and maybe a fumble.
So the third down woes continue for the Seminoles. Jason Beatty has been very busy. Made only 6 punts through the first 2 games. Has 5 of them already tonight. Fair catch made at the 16. Major League Baseball coming down the wire. ESPN tomorrow night. Cardinals and the Redlegs. Kirk, your Redlegs.
Oh, man, I tell you, we won 8 of 11 heading into the All-Star break without Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips, and everybody was giddy thinking about the second half. I don't know if they've won a series since the All-Star break. They have struggled. So
we huh? The Reds.
I'm a diehard Reds fan. So it's going back to the Big Red Machine. Joe Morgan and Davey Concepcion.
Presented by Taco Bell, 8 Eastern, also on the Watch ESPN app. Those were the days.
The good old days.
And there's a handoff. Gallman, first down carry for about 7 yards.
Chad Morris just tries to stretch you in every different way. He's trying to get this ball out on the perimeter, remind this defense that, hey, we'll run the football up the middle with C.J. Davidson. We'll get it on the edge with that jet sweep. All this window dressing with the motions and the different looks, just to remind this defense, different people will touch the football.
Short gain on second down. A year ago, this time, it was the Noles in control on the road. The halftime score 27-7. The Tigers had 3 turnovers. The Noles had 171 more yards. Tonight on their field, FSU being thoroughly outplayed.
And with 3:15 to go here till the half, Clemson with a football and a touchdown lead. This is a big series for Clemson to be able to try to get points on the board, and also a big series for the Noles defense to come up with a stop and not allow Clemson to build on the lead.
Watson rolls out and looks to keep it all the way, hammered down short of the first down. Mario Edwards and Terrence Smith wouldn't let him get there.
Well, Terrence Smith has been really making plays tonight. I think they were running of routes, but I think Deshaun Watson all along was thinking about keeping the football and trying to pick up the first down himself. Took a nosedive into that grass, but again, 24, Terrence Smith. He's about as active as Stephon Anthony is on the other side. It's a big stop for the Noles D.
Watson trying to shake off that head. So another punt for Clemson. The Noles, a couple minutes to work for before halftime, have a chance. It's a low kick. Bringing it up the middle is Green. Hasn't made a catch yet, but trying to make an impact play as a returner. And Rashad Green does set up Sean McGuire with great field position before halftime.
Well, Rashad Green's not getting many touches as a receiver tonight, so he's got to make something happen as a punt returner. Right away avoids Tony Stewart, the first man down, and then he's got a nice wall and a convoy to follow, be able to pick up big chunks of yards here. I thought he might have a chance to get to the sideline and take it all the way to the house, but the punter there, of course, able to corral him. But the Noles get great field position, and Rashad Green finally gets a chance to make a play tonight for the Seminoles.
28-yard return. 2:06 before halftime. And they fake it to Williams. Play action. Again, harassed and dropped by Vic Beasley, who's been a living nightmare for McGuire tonight.
Well, Cam Irving, how you going to match up with the speed off the edge? Watch his hands. I mean, you talk about having not just great speed, but great technique. That's where Beasley has improved so much as a pass rusher. The hands to be able to go with the acceleration off the edge.
Cameron Irving being beaten badly by Beasley tonight. There's a short completion on second down. Finally, making his first catch of the night is Rashad Green, who should break all the receiving records here before he's finished the season.
You go back to that first down after the big punt return. The timing of that play was huge for Vic Beasley and Clemson. Florida State had good field position. They had a little bit of momentum, a chance to maybe get some points, and they send them back on that first down play.
And now a flag and a false start will move him back 5 yards.
False start, number 70 on the offense, 5 yards, third down.
Josue Matias, another veteran on that left side. It's been a rough night for this offensive line.
And they started this drive on the 38-yard line. Here's the first down play. Look at the quickness off the edge. The timing of this, when you can get pressure like that with 4, it's one thing to dial up blitzes, but you get pressure like that with 4. Boy, that is tough.
3rd and 17. McGuire hit again. Throws as he is being brought down. It's incomplete. Relentless pressure from Clemson. Grady Jarrett, the senior tackle, leader of that defense, got there that time.
Watch Beasley this time with a spin move, and the left guard Matias has to help out. He kicks out to the outside, and when he does that, you got to deal with Grady Jarrett. So it's not just Vic Beasley on the outside. They slide that the offensive line. We're going to pick him up this time. We got 3. Don't worry about 3. We're going to double team him. Oh, wow. Who's got 50? One-on-one. He's going to win his matchup, too.
That defensive front moving the Seminoles back. They lose 7 yards in the possession and squander great field position. Jason Beatty yet again. And they do down it inside the 5. Remember what a difference, change in complexion to this game, Kirk, because of the length and suspension that only came down late last night. Until late last night, Jameis Winston thought he could come into the second half and he would inherit this deficit, but I think everybody here would feel a lot calmer. Now you've got McGuire trying to find his traction here down to touchdown.
It's just amazing. The whole nation's watching this game to see how Florida State's going to do without Jameis Winston. The defending national champions, a Heisman Trophy winner from last year, is out. Everybody's watching this first half. Florida State has negative 22 yards rushing. They're struggling on 3rd down. The quarterback who stepped in right now is 6 of 17. They're in predictable positions, and there's Jameis Winston trying to talk to the young quarterback, telling him, hey, it's still a long game. We still have plenty of time.
So Clemson, inside of the final minute, just hands it off. The safe call to C.J. Davidson. Absolutely complete 180 from a year ago when the Tigers were being run out in Death Valley at halftime.
It was 27-7 in the first half last year, and I think a lot of the people that went to that game started maybe head out early at halftime. Boy, what a different feel this year.
Your last visit here, it was a wild start for Clemson. A bold play calling evening. They made some big plays. They led by a couple touchdowns, and then it turned around on special teams.
If Florida State's going to have a chance to win the game, it'll be interesting to see what Jimbo Fisher does when he goes in at halftime, makes adjustments, and tries to deal with this Clemson defensive line that in the first half clearly won the battle against his veteran offensive line. 4 of the 5 are back. but they got embarrassed in that first half against the more athletic and more aggressive Clemson front four.
84 total yards allowed by Dabo Swinney's defense. Heather?
Chris, thanks so much. Coach, what can we expect from the quarterback rotation in the second half?
Well, I think we missed a couple opportunities to score on the first couple drives, and number 4 came in, took us down, and that's the way it is. You got to get to the game and you evaluate performance. And really proud of how he's played. Probably see Cole again at some point, but hey, this has been a great defensive half for our guys. They're dialed in, playing very well. What would you expect? 10-3 on the road, tough Florida State team. Should be a fun second half.
It's been a great first half. Thanks, Coach. Tom, over to you.
Thanks very much. Jimbo, beyond quarterback making his first start, minus 22 yards rushing in the first half. How do you change it?
We got to block them up front. We're just getting beat up front. We're getting beat in the pass. We're getting beat in the run. We've got some things we want to throw, but we got to control the line of scrimmage, and they're winning the line of scrimmage right now. That's the biggest thing, no matter where you're running or you're passing.
Thanks, Jimbo. Appreciate it. Chris?
3 sacks allowed, 3rd and long all night, and the Noles have converted just 1 of 8. They're in a rare position. Defending national champions in a 7-point hole at halftime. After these messages, the halftime report coming up. Worth remembering right now as Winston trots out, minus the pads in those track pants, that Winston's suspension this week, when it was announced on Wednesday after the Tuesday incident at the Student Union for that offensive and vulgar comment, it was just going to be a half until late last night, when the administration cited a continuing investigation. Tom Rinaldi reporting that there may have been a discrepancy with Winston's account of what happened and what eyewitnesses said. And based on that, he sits out an entire game, Kirk. So how different would this be if the initial suspension had stood and Winston came out there right now? Not much he can do in the sideline.
I don't know how different it would be. I mean, obviously he's a great player. He's the leader, and they've lost his leadership tonight. Now they're on the ropes. #1 team in the country without their alpha. How will they respond? But I'm Jimbo Fisher, and I start to look at the grease board at halftime, and I start to think about what can I do. And I'm talking with my offensive staff. There isn't a whole lot that worked in the first half. I think they've got to go back and try to get the quarterback, Sean McGuire, into rhythm. Get him back, play action, 1st and 10, and throw the football to hope to open up some running lanes. Because if they're not going to run the ball and they're going to be predictable with their passing game, they cannot hold this front four and this defense out of the backfield with Sean McGuire. So I think you throw initially in this series to try to see if you can get your quarterback back into rhythm and see if that can open up some running lanes.
Noles will get the ball to begin the 3rd quarter as Fisher checks out the playlist.
It's narrow.
Not a position they expected to be with. Still double-digit favorites even without Jameis Winston. And the Noles, Kirk, you thought almost defiant to show the world they're not a Jameis Winston team. Sweeney wants an explanation from this ACC crew.
Clemson will defend the large scoreboard to start the second half.
So they'll switch ends and kick it off. Clemson kept saying it's about Clemson. It's about Clemson. We don't care which number 5 or number 10 quarterback on the other side. It's about what we do. But remember, the Tigers have been here before. Each of the last 3 visits to Tallahassee, they've had the lead at halftime. And then the Noles have come on strong and outscored them 48-19 in those 2 second halves.
And that's what Florida State's trying to hang their hat on. Now this game has a completely different feel than some of the previous matchups between these two teams. When was the last time you saw a Florida State offense led by Jimbo Fisher looked the way they did in that first half, where they couldn't get anything, really couldn't get any traction going at all?
They use Lacob to kick off, and it's a short kick, not one to give the deep return men a chance to turn things around on special teams, and the Noles will take over at the 33. Here's our Pacific Life game summary.
It's been a very difficult night to get any kind of rhythm going. You can see, I mean, it's just incredible to look at that. A punt and a field goal, and then after that, it's just been punt, 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 punt. In fact, in the second quarter alone, Chris, 13 plays in the second quarter, 4 yards. That was their last quarter of football as they get ready to call these plays now to start this 3rd quarter.
McGuire 6 of 17, sacked 3 times already. First play of the second half, gets better protection, delivers to O'Leary, who lunges toward the first down marker.
And that's what we just talked about. What do you expect them to do? Get the quarterback back and throw the football. In the first half, the one part of their offense that looked good is when he got back and he threw the ball quickly. 1 step or 3 steps, quick hitch, ball out. Not a whole lot of reads, not a lot of time for Clemson to get to him. Just get him back, quick routes, easy reads, get the ball out of his hands.
And O'Leary, who really punished Clemson last year, had a 94-yard reception, makes his 3rd catch tonight. McGuire fires near side. Again, they get the ball to Green and positive gain on first down.
Another play, exact same thought. That's what Jimbo Fisher must have seen is, hey, you know, what we have to do is get the ball out of his hands, obviously, quickly because of the battle up front. Get his confidence established here to start the second half. Know what Brent Venables is going to do to combat that? He's going to tighten up his coverage. He's going to try to get his corners. Here they are. They're going to tighten things up, try to take away the easy throws. All 3 of them right now, right in the face of the receiver.
And another false start.
False start. Number 51 on the offense. 5 yards. Second down.
That's the tackle, Bobby Hart. This has really been a nightmarish evening for an offensive line that thought it was the best in the country.
Well, and again, you lose your quarterback, you lose some of your rhythm. You can't really make excuses. They come out and they start this second half as bad as they have looked, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 they get a little bit of confidence, they get a little bit of rhythm, and then they have a false start, and it sets them back. Now, they can keep this drive alive, but that's the last thing you need after getting together at halftime to start a second half.
Pender is the setback. Tigers bring pressure again. It's a screen underneath. O'Leary's got it, and he's wrestled down across midfield. Here comes a flag. Tony Stewart tackled him a yard short of the first down. Tigers say it's on the Seminoles. Rashad Green disagrees.
Face mask. Number 99 on the defense. 15 yards and then the run. Automatic. First down.
And Deshaun Williams grabbed the tight end's face mask.
A mistake here. I mean, great effort by O'Leary. Well, it came in. The flag came in late. Couldn't really get a good look at it there. I don't know if it was as he was going down or it was maybe after he was down. The official had a great vantage point to see the penalty, but
I didn't see O'Leary's face mask get grabbed.
No, not at all.
And first down. Trying to get the ground. They cannot block the guys up front. Williams, Jarrett, Crawford, Beasley, overmatching this Nole offensive line.
You also got to give an assist to not just the athletic ability up front, but the way they're just changing up their looks so often. Even when Sean McGuire is barking out the cadence, you're seeing movement. That time there was a slant and an angle with a blitz on the backside, so it makes it tough to communicate, even with a veteran offensive line where you're getting so many different looks, because I think you can be more risky with the quarterback that's playing tonight for Florida State.
Worst rushing half for Florida State in a decade. So they go back to the pass and another completion for a first down, and that's Green. About time that the top receiver got involved here.
Yeah, this time they do a good job of reading the linebacker. He goes out with the back. It was Stephon Anthony, and that's Florida State's offense. Whether it's Jameis Winston or if it's going to be Sean McGuire, the quick slants and the underneath throws to Rashad Green.
Green had the big punt return that came up empty. Now he has 3 catches, and that time Wilson gets hammered immediately there by Gary Peters.
That's what you can't do as a quarterback, is lay a receiver out to dry in the flat. Got to be aware of the coverage. Now you got a receiver out there in Christian Green that should be making a better block than that, but that's a combination of a poor effort by Green and pretty good acceleration and awareness by Gary Peters, who missed that Georgia game. He was suspended for that game as a senior from Georgia. I'm sure he's been very anxious to get into this game tonight and make some plays.
Tigers show pressure up the middle. Off his back foot, McGuire lofts it downfield. No flag, incomplete. Rashad Green well covered by Mackenzie Alexander.
I love the look of Mackenzie Alexander and the confidence that he has. Brent Venables has no problem leaving him on an island. That's a freshman. Little stuttering go by Rashad Green. Pretty good position, body position by Alexander. The crowd doesn't like it. He had a little bit of an arm bar going there against Green, but because he was in great position, it's a no call from the official.
Georgia went after that young corner, made him tackle, and he didn't do very well in that department, but he's a good cover guy, the freshman. And now a flag on 3rd and 9.
Illegal substitution on the defense. 5 yards.
Sweeney a bit confused by the call, but
they're confused because there's 12 people out on the field for Clemson's defense. They're trying to add them up. Now they're saying, wait, we got 11 out there. Look at the official. They're counting them up. And now they bring an extra linebacker off, Tony Stewart. So you got a face mask call, and now 12 men on the field trying to help Sean McGuire in the Florida State offense.
Now it's 3rd and 4. Wilson in motion. McGuire pressured up the middle again. Delivers to O'Leary, the tight end, muscling down inside the 5. 1st and goal, Seminoles.
3rd down, the big fella. This is just like a basketball game. You're going to go in here, a little option route, and you're going to try to just find a crease, find an opening. Anthony knows it's happening, knows it's going to come. Nothing you can do to stop that. That's roommate to roommate there.
Yep, Knowles playing fast. There was confusion in the Clemson defensive personnel. They snap it. Pender trying to get the corner, now cuts back, touchdown Florida State. And the Noles take the second half kickoff to the end zone, a point away from tying it. That'll make the first-time starter feel better. He was sharp on that drive.
Quick throws, nice balanced attack, did a lot of different looks, went tempo. So that's another adjustment that Jimbo Fisher made. Allow Sean McGuire not to think about that pass rush. Get that defense on its heels. It worked to perfection.
A 7-point halftime deficit. First, second half possession coming up for Clemson. Much more calm and settled Sean McGuire in that possession, Kirk.
Yeah, 6 of 7 for 53 yards. Great execution and great adjustments by Jimbo Fisher and his offensive staff.
Another deep boot from McGuire. This one will not be returned. To Tom Rinaldi, who has an injury report. Tom?
Chris, a huge loss here for the Seminoles. Mario Edwards, the junior standout defender for the Noles, out for the rest of the game with a concussion. If you're wondering what the scene was like in the halftime locker room, we've seen Jameis Winston coaching the players on the sideline throughout this game so far. But in the locker room, when the players first went in and coaches were still gathering, Winston, one of the players who stood up, he challenged the rest of this team, reminding them they're the #1 team in the country. Come out in the second half and play like it. So Winston's presence being felt.
There's a first down carry by Tavis Scott, the receiver. Boy, Mario Edwards, Kirk, who had this scoop and score against Clemson a year ago. That's a major loss for that Noles defense.
Yeah, and a great leader for this team. Makes so many different plays. Has become one of the guys that they've turned to, and a guy that time after time has been able to step up for them. So you're going to see a lot more of DeMarcus Walker, number 44, out on the field, who's more than capable athletically of making plays.
And now the pressure ratcheted up on the unflappable so far, Deshaun Watson. Play clock at 4. Just get it off. Delivery to a wide open receiver on the far side. It's J.J. McCullough, talented sophomore tight end.
And a busted coverage here by Florida State, and it's again they're having a hard time defending the tight end. If you notice there, Chris, Deshaun Watson moved him over. He saw coverage that he liked, and he moved McCullough from the right to the left, and he ended up being open in the flat.
Now a keeper and a tackle for loss as Watson's hit in the backfield.
This time they brought a blitz, and McCullough at the top doesn't move quick enough to slow down that pass rush and that blitz that came from the outside from Chris Casher, outside linebacker who's got great acceleration at 6'4", 250. Just shot right in front of him, timed it up perfectly. Nothing McCullough could do.
And second and long. Watson pressured again, escapes. Takes off, gets the corner, gets a block, and scampers out of bounds across the 40-yard line. Could have been a huge loss. Now it'll be third and manageable.
And they got pressure with 4. They're there. All they got to do is make the play. You know, they had a hard time against Oklahoma State. They got there, but they weren't able to bring the quarterback down. What an amazing effort. I thought he was going to be down right there. He doesn't give up on the play. And not only that, a couple poor angles from Northrup and Terrence Smith allowed him to get to the corner and pick up about 5 or 6 more yards.
Watson ran out of the arm tackle of a 325-pounder, Eddie Goldman. 3rd and 4. Rolls White, throws back. It's complete, but dropped for a loss immediately. Now they say incomplete. P.J. Williams all over the tight end that time, Kirk.
And he's on the backside. The play developed to the offense's right. Looked like they were going to throw it out in the flat to Humphreys. Easy play. They set up the screen to the backside. The only guy that was there was P.J. Williams. Disciplined to stay home. If he doesn't do that and he starts to kind of move to the middle of the defense, McCullough makes that catch and he walks down the sideline.
Williams, of course, the defensive MVP of the BCS championship game. The big pick late against Nick Marshall makes a stop there on 3rd down. So the Seminoles with momentum now get the ball back at their 25. 10-10. They get it back at their 25. McGuire, another 1st down throw, looks far side, complete, and suddenly things improve when you involve number 80, Rashad Green.
And when you go back and get the ball out of his hands. Let's go back to this play that they set up. Watch the tackle here. The left tackle, Isaiah Battle. If he makes this block, watch the play and look at the sideline and what they missed. Look at Chad Morris up at the top, frustrated at his left tackle because he knows if he picks up that block, it's not just a 1st down, it's a touchdown. So they end the drive and Florida State gets the ball back.
Great spot. The small things that can make a huge difference as Pender takes it to the right side. Mario Pender gets the corner, 1st down to the 40 before Peters drove him out.
The quick throws. This is what you're going to see now. The quick throws, the tempo offense, trying to get the Clemson defense on its heels, and then you got to mix in some of the running game. They cannot completely abort this running game. They still, even though they haven't had a lot of success, they've got to be able to mix it in, and we're noticing Pender getting more of an opportunity because of his quickness and acceleration against this defense.
7 yards, by far the longest run of the night for the Seminoles. On 1st down, pressure again. McGuire almost loses the ball as Stephon Anthony, who's really joined that front 4 in the backfield tonight.
Well, they also occupy. They move Grady Jarrett here, so the center and the left guard are occupied. And once they're able to do that, that frees up the hole for Stephon Anthony. So they moved Jarrett at the last moment. The line obviously made a call because Jarrett occupied the center. The left guard's taken, and it opens up again for Stephon Anthony. It's the 3rd time we've seen him come right up the middle of that offensive line.
Senior middle linebackers having a night. So 2nd and 21. They hand it off to Pender. Makes a couple of guys miss in tight, but Smith tackled him. It's 3rd and long.
Because of the way Florida State's attacking, whether it's penalties or sacks, their margin of error is so small. They can't have negative plays if they want to sustain drives. They don't have the big playability without Jameis Winston. So a sack or a penalty and putting them back into these 3rd and 9s or 3rd and 10s or now 3rd and 16s. They just aren't going to have the success that they normally could have. So they've got to avoid all these negative plays.
McGuire converted a 3rd down in the last drive, but this is 3rd and 16. Steps up, delivers into traffic, was trying to get it to O'Leary. Tigers were all over him. 4th down.
Defensive line for this Clemson defense gets most of the attention. But tonight we're seeing why Stephon Anthony, number 42, deserves serious recognition. And also, Chris, I've been really impressed with Gary Peters, Mackenzie Alexander, the 2 corners. Also, Robert Smith has been very active. Martin Jenkins. This is a complete defense. It's not just about their front.
Jason Beatty can go like a month with 7 punts. Doesn't usually work this hard. This is his 7th tonight. Tigers peel back. This is another booming punt. Humphreys changes it, but it's going to bounce out of bounds. So Beatty, they were looking for an improved season from him. They don't usually need the punter too much, but he delivers his 2nd long boot of the night. Tigers get the ball at their 27-yard line, but the injuries beginning to mount. We'll get details from Heather in a moment. Adam Choice, the true freshman tailback, takes the handoff from Watson and a short gain. Heather?
Deshaun Watson without two starters, a couple of high snaps the last possession, maybe because backup center Ryan Norton in, starter Jay Guillermo on the sideline with ice on his right knee. The good news, Norton did start last year at center. Now tight end Jordan Leggett also out right now with a left knee injury. Look for J.J. McCullough in his spot.
We also saw Martin Jenkins, the backup corner, with ice on his left foot. Mario Edwards already out of the game with the concussion, Tom reported, and Watson takes off. Will be third down and short for the Tigers.
Keep waiting for this quarterback running game to be more of a factor, especially when Florida State plays man-to-man. When you play man-to-man, you're covering that receiver, your back's turned to the quarterback, and if he can get through that initial seam and find a crease, he can pick up a lot of yards. He hadn't been able to get out yet, but it's still something I'm sure Chad Morris is thinking about because of the speed of Watson.
He's run it 6 times, Kirk, but so far no long gains. They throw it on third down, and Choice, the true freshman, makes a man miss, still running out near midfield, and you can see the talent of this guy from just a few miles north of here in Thomasville, Georgia.
And on third down, what I like from a young quarterback is he sees a matchup that he likes, gets the ball out fast. I mean, there wasn't any hesitation. There's a matchup on the outside against a much taller Chris Casher. He's 6'4", 250, out in space against a running back. He saw it, recognized it, falls out of his hands fast, first down.
Casher is quick, but not quick enough to stop Choice in that matchup.
Such poise from this true freshman on the road playing the #1 team in the country.
Watson lobs a short throw. That's Choice again. They're looking for mismatches and finding him there.
There's two things to keep in mind with Deshaun Watson. Last year he was ranked in high school the best dual threat quarterback in high school football. He decided he was going to come to Clemson, enrolled in January. So not only did he run a similar offense that Clemson runs in college, he also had January to now to learn the offense at Clemson.
There's a throw again, far side complete, and once again they find Adam Choice. It's been the true freshman featured in this drive, and the Tigers with another first down.
And what guts from the kid here. He gets pressure, they're coming in on him, and he throws that football as he's getting hit. That was an amazing effort. Was it Derek Naldi, I think, got pressure on him that time. He throws that football down as he's almost falling back to the freshman running back.
This time Watson keeps it on the corner. We're seeing guys who were in the recruiting class of 2014. They were in high school a year ago, coming here to Tallahassee and make plays against the defending national champions.
I think we're seeing more and more of that in college football, and I think it really speaks volumes for the development of high school football, the 7-on-7 camps. You see Trent Dilfer with the Elite 11, the work that these guys do with quarterbacks. They get into college football, and they're so much further along as far as their maturity, understanding of coverages, and obviously the skill sets to be able to make the throws.
Davidson now replaces Choice. He's the tailback on 2nd and 9. He's got it. Sutter step in the backfield. Strong drive forward near the first down marker. It'll be 3rd and short.
Good push by Reed Webster that time. I mean, you run into the teeth of that Florida State defense. That is tough to do. But C.J. Davidson, you notice they're keeping the backs fresh and mixing in a variety of guys. Davidson, Gallman, Choice has had his chance on this series.
They don't really have a featured back.
No,
nobody had more than 16 carries through 2 games coming in.
No, kind of a committee. They lost, of course, their leader last year, Rod McDowell, and they've lost Zach Brooks to an injury, so they've had to turn to kind of that committee. But they all bring something a little bit different. One thing they all have is a toughness. They all run hard.
No measure, but it's clearly about a yard short. So Clemson in field goal range, but Lacob has been a little shaky. They're definitely thinking touchdown here. Try to answer the Seminoles scoring drive early in the quarter.
Told you that Clemson, when they get that first down to start a drive, they have some success. They told us that they went back and looked at it since Chad Morris has been here. 67% of the time when they get that first down, it leads them to points, whether a field goal or a touchdown.
Problem against Georgia, their last road test, it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. The difference is Deshaun Watson was not the quarterback in those series against the Dogs. It's his game tonight. 8th play of the drive. Davidson, tough running, but they move the chains again to the 20.
So their tempo, but I also think they're just kind of taking their time with the way the kind of ebb and flow of this drive has gone. They kind of pick their spots to go speedball, to go really, really fast. And right now they're just kind of taking their time with the way they move the ball. But once again, they're back down into this red zone to see if they can get a touchdown or to see if they have to settle for a field goal. They're going to get a lot of man-to-man pressure down here.
It's a first down throw. Far side. Caught. Now inside the 5 and falling forward. Touchdown. Stanton Seconder, the tight end. Little redemption for the opening play fumble a year ago in Death Valley, and the Tigers are back on top.
They're going to take a look just to make sure his knee didn't touch. Looks like they'll probably give that another look, Chris, but you're right. How fitting for Seconder to come back against this same team and have a chance to get into the end zone. His knee's down. He might be just a little bit short.
Did the ball break the plane before the knee hit the turf? I think he's just short, Kurt. Zoom it in for you. Knee down right there. Ball short of the goal line. Yeah, so they'll spot it about half-yard away.
Half-yard line. A wheel route to a tight end. The right tackle picked up an outstanding block. Davis makes a great block, but again, is another example of Watson seeing the matchup that he wants and the adjustment by Seconder. Here's kind of a wheel route out and up against the linebacker. See how he sees the football? Casher has no idea. His back's turned. He's not looking back for the ball. The ball is thrown where Seconder can see it, adjust back to it. Casher keeps running. No chance of making a play on the football. And as I said, make sure you give Kalen Davis, the right tackle, an assist there for a great block. Great execution again, and the ball was out on time from Deshaun Watson.
We still await the ruling of this ACC replay official, Ted Jackson, looking at it upstairs.
A star is born tonight with Deshaun Watson. We kept saying, when's the future of Deshaun Watson? When's he going to take over? It's not a matter of if, but when. Tonight's that night.
Another look. Seconder's knee down before the ball breaks the plane of the goal. Even if it's taken off the board, it'll still be first and goal.
Ruling on the field has the runner down at the half-yard line. Left hash, first and goal, Clemson.
Now the ruling from the booth has it that way. The field called it a touchdown, but let's not quibble.
Right. They got the call right. Unfortunate thing for Seconder is he doesn't get that sweet revenge of getting a touchdown, but a huge play to take it down to the half-yard line.
Just his second catch of the season. That was the first catch for positive yards, and it is a big play.
And with Leggett down and not playing, opens up an opportunity for McCullough and Seconder to play a little bit more.
Knows the football. Foot and a half away from the goal line. Davidson hammered. Did he get there? No signal yet. Aaron Smith and DeMarcus Walker combining in a hit. They might have moved it a few inches forward, but it's still short.
Chris, he landed on his back in the end zone. It's just a matter of where the ball is, but he lands in the end zone. You see, he's in the end zone. I don't know. Let's see if you can see where the football is. But his entire upper body was in the end zone. They pulled him back out.
Davidson again, this time a flag down before the snap. Knowles came charging across the line.
Eddie Goldman jumped the snap count. Number 90 that lined him up at nose. Looked like he got off quick. He got off a little bit too quick.
Offside on the defense. Number 90. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
About a 4-inch penalty. This is getting interesting down here. They didn't review the previous run, which we thought might have gotten in the end zone.
That was a great look. I don't know if we can rewind that, but Eddie Goldman just guessed because of the center and his head. The center looked back, and then as soon as he looked back up, Goldman took a chance and jumped the snap count instead of waiting just a second. Took a chance.
Snap over Watson's head, and their freshman has to fall in it way back at the 25-yard line.
Remember what Heather Cox just said about Guillermo being out and Ryan Norton, the backup center, being in? Wow. We saw a couple snaps close to going over the head of Deshaun Watson. This time, I mean, that's 9 feet over the top of Deshaun Watson.
And he had just turned his head back to the center when the snap came.
And that's what the criticism of these kind of offenses is. They're on the half-yard line, maybe 3-inch line, and they're still back there in the shotgun instead of being under center.
Yep. Now they got to hurry. 4-3 in the play clock, and Clemson will have to spend a timeout. It's called from the sidelines. Clemson thought they had a go-ahead touchdown. That was taken off the board by replay. Now they're back at the 24 for 3rd and goal. Just from the goal line. Now they're 24 yards away. And they hand it off to Davidson, who's hammered after a very short gain by Smith and Northrup. And here comes a field goal attempt. You made a great point, Kirk. The shotgun offenses down inside the 1- and 2-yard line. They do it all over the field, but boy, it can be costly when you mess it up.
Well, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, even though they've had success to snap the ball back 4 or 5 yards when you're on the 3-inch line and you got an athletic quarterback.
So we'll begin the final quarter with a field goal attempt. Edmund Lakeup now came to Clemson originally as a soccer recruit. Didn't play football until his junior year of high school. Used to think this football stuff was boring. Nothing boring about this moment as Clemson tries to salvage 3.
He's been standing out there for almost 2 minutes during that TV timeout, all by himself, nobody talking to him.
From 40 yards for the lead. Drifting, missed it. Wide right in Tallahassee for the visitors, and Clemson inches from the goal line after having taken it off the board. Again comes up empty.
Dabo Swinney has got to be beside himself. The opening drive tonight on the road. Cole Stout misses an open tight end. Leggett on 3rd down. They settle for a field goal attempt. Lakeup misses a short chip shot. Now they get back down inside the 1-yard line. A bad snap over the head of Deshaun Watson sets up another field goal, and they miss another field goal 3 times in the red zone, and they've only been able to come up with the field goal. Now they're confused on defense.
You just had a feeling, Kirk,
timeout, Clemson.
That Lakeup,
second timeout of the second half.
As you said, was standing out there forever and ever by himself. This is new for him. He's a first-year starting kicker. Says he doesn't get nervous. He lives for these pressure moments, but his second miss tonight. Winston, who can only be a cheerleader tonight, and the Noles still tied.
Still tied up, and Jimbo Fisher's face was a little bit more like, all right, now I got to go back to trying to figure out how we're going to move the football against this Clemson defense. The opening drive to start the second half was perfect. They did a good job of running some tempo, a good job of getting their quarterback with some rhythm, with the quick throws. And they actually got the Clemson defense for the first time all night a bit on their heels, and that's what they're going to see if they can get that going again. He feels like
it's a lonely place for a kicker.
Man. That kind of look, you hope for Clemson's sake the game doesn't come down to a last-second field goal. He's not in a good spot mentally.
You talked about Kirk winning special teams for Clemson. No, they haven't done so. 1 of 3 for field goals. Maguire has the long one. It was a good punt return for Green that didn't produce anything, but they're not winning special teams. Pender, nowhere to run right, cuts back left for a short gain. So we check back in with Robert Flores for an update. Bruising freshman back, having success there. In 2nd and 6. Play action. Maguire looking downfield. Delivers a throw into tight coverage. Jump ball incomplete. Green, a good battle with Alexander.
I'm telling you, this kid, Mackenzie Alexander, came in 5-star All-World. He is challenging Florida State, challenging Rashad Green, one of the best receivers in the country. He's all alone out there. He doesn't have a safety over the top. All the rest of the defense up tight against the running. It's a 2 tight end formation. He sees the football. How many corners in college football are in good position to be able to look back and find the ball? Very few. This is a freshman on an island against a senior, and he's following him now everywhere he goes on the field.
One of the best receivers in Noles history out there, not just any senior. 3rd and 6. O'Leary makes the catch. There is a flag down. The tight end takes it near midfield, but we'll check the marker.
Offside. Defense. Number 3. A penalty decline. First down.
And so after halftime, McGuire's looking for the reliable targets, O'Leary and Green.
And I'm surprised that they're leaving O'Leary open with a free release. Nobody challenging him at all. If it's not Rashad Green, chances are the ball's going over the middle to Nick O'Leary. Nobody on 3rd down challenges him. Nobody pushes him and makes him work to get open. Free release, gets into the middle of the defense, comes up with another catch.
We beat J-Ron Curse. And now a 1st down throw. McGuire dumps it down short. And the catch made by Wilson. He crosses midfield to the 47 of the Tigers. And this Clemson defense, Kirk, which got overwhelmed by Georgia in their last road test. 3 touchdowns allowed in the 4th quarter. The whole mantra, finish, find a way to play through mental and physical fatigue. But the Noles are beginning to pound away on them now.
They were very disappointed in the way they played in that second half where they wore down. I think some of that obviously had to do with the offense going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
And Todd Gurley.
And Todd Gurley being the best back in the country. But they're committed to trying to play a full game tonight.
Into traffic, picked off. McGuire made a mistake. And J-Ron Curse, the interception. And a learning moment for the first-time starter as a promising drive ends with a pick.
And Anthony does a great job in the middle of this defense. He's been blitzing. This time he's in coverage. Number 42 fighting back and forth with Nick O'Leary. So you get the interception by Curse, but it's Anthony. This time you see how he held the ball, held it, tried to squeeze one more ball into Nick O'Leary. Ball's deflected and over the middle. When the ball goes in the air, the defense typically is going to come up with the pick.
Clemson back to work. 1st down throw for Watson, far side at Sharon Peak, muscled out of bounds by Hunter, and now flag comes in on the tackle.
Like a horse collar there by Tyler Hunter.
Some missed opportunities, Kirk, for both offenses. Tigers inches away, come up empty with a missed field goal.
Personal foul, horse collar on the defense. 15 yards, minute and run, automatic. First down.
See Tyler Hunter, he's pointing to himself, saying, that's all me, that's all me. I mean, literally, as soon as he made the play and he came up, he already knew.
Textbook horse.
Yeah, he knew right away. And it's not only a gain of about 8 or 9 yards, but it's another 15 yards. And just like that, now they're in plus territory.
Ball moves all the way to the 43. This is Wayne Gallman. Noles string it out, and it's a short game. Heather?
Chris, when center Ryan Norton came off the field after that bad snap, it's as if Dabo Swinney knew that he needed to get his head right. He came immediately over to his center and said, we had a great drive. Look ahead, look to the next play, and don't hang your head. Then offensive coordinator Chad Morris and starter Jay Guillermo were in there telling him to and giving him confidence while preaching to the offense. We knew we'd face adversity. We knew it wasn't easy. Now it's the time to respond.
Well, thank you, Heather. Watson trying to respond with a downfield throw into traffic. It's a battle there as Mike Williams was well defended.
Great.
He makes the catch at the 2-yard line. That's a tough catch.
That's a great catch. And Mike Williams not only loses a shoe, but has such concentration. We'll take another look at this ball to make sure he got his elbows underneath. Clemson's trying to go hurry up so they don't stop play. I thought he got his elbows under. That's a catch.
Ball can hit the ground if he has control of it when it hits the ground.
Chris, he's had a quiet night tonight, and what an opportunity to come up with a play A great throw, but it was really all about the adjustment back to the ball. We've seen that all night from these Clemson receivers, and then the focus and concentration between two Florida State defenders. Big time play by Mike Williams.
Being reviewed. His arms underneath the ball. Mitchell seems to control the ball. Can't have assistance from the ground. That's what they'll look at. That's very close, actually, when you look at it from that angle.
Yeah.
They have to have incontrovertible.
Yeah, is it enough to overturn it? It will be the question.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Catch. First goal, Clemson.
I think the fact he got his hands underneath the football, it's tough after that. What another view to be able to say, oh boy, the ground definitely helped him make the catch.
Boy, Williams dropped a couple of easy ones against Georgia on back-to-back plays in that game.
Early in that game.
Yeah.
Early in that game.
A huge catch there.
We had him kind of highlighted tonight as one of our impact players because of his ability to get vertical and make plays. The first time a chance to be able to get behind coverage. But boy, he shows you his potential to make plays. That was a great play.
They're close again. Can they finish it this time, the Tigers? The running back Dahlman in the slot to the near side, but Watson keeps it and dives for the end zone. Touchdown. And the true freshman leads Clemson in a long drive. And they're back on top. 11:44 to play.
And how about the snap by Ryan Norton that time? Right there. And they're not messing around.
Better be.
They're not messing around with any of the razzle-dazzle. Just a straight snap back to the quarterback. And the interception, Sean McGuire waiting and waiting to put the ball into the hands of the tight end, was the reason Clemson got the football back to set up that drive.
The PAT will be taken by the punter, Bradley Pinion. So Lacob, who's missed 2 field goals, will sit for now. He's made a couple of PATs this year.
Well, their long distance place kicker.
This is not long distance, but clearly Lacob's confidence can't be too good.
He's in the tank.
Not down the middle, but it is through.
Yeah, but let's go back to how this opportunity came up for Clemson. It was the tip ball. Anthony makes the play. Curse makes the interception. They get the ball back to the freshman Watson. Leads them down thanks to the great catch by Mike Williams. And the very next play, the quarterback takes it in for the go-ahead touchdown.
Much in jeopardy. Lacob, who did not kick the PAT, but is sort of a pooch kickoff specialist, is back out there. It's a short directional kick. And coming up is Whitfield, the man who made the big play to turn around the BCS championship game, but not much doing here, Kirk. The Pacific Life game summary.
Been a difficult night most of the evening for Sean McGuire. The 8 hurries, 4 hits, 4 sacks. Of course, the last series hesitated through late over the middle. The interception off the deflection by Stephon Anthony. Got the ball back to Clemson. Made some big plays. And I'll tell you, this kid, Deshaun Watson, he's hit his last 6 passes and 11 of his last 12. So Chad Morris has found his man tonight. The game was started by the senior Cole Stout. After the 3rd series, Watson has taken over, and I think he's taken over this offense for the rest of the year.
So 2 inexperienced quarterbacks. Watson outplaying McGuire so far. Who throws on first down, catch made by Green. Of course, when you have no running game and little protection, it's very, very tough for any quarterback, even if Jameis Winston's out there tonight.
There's no doubt about that. But with the adjustment we saw in this second half, and I think you'll continue to see, is being able to get the quarterback, Sean McGuire, back and just get the ball out in rhythm and getting it out quicker. When he's done that, that's when he's been able to have some success. When he has hesitated or had to wait, that's when he's gotten himself into some trouble.
In 2nd and 7, near side, Green again trying to escape. First down across the 35-yard line. Curse tackled him. Even Winston was never in this position in a regular season game. Had that dramatic 4th quarter against Auburn, but this is new for a lot of these Noles.
No doubt about that. Anthony on the blitz. You see what happens when the ball gets out fast. Chris, is you can't do anything to get, you can't get pressure on him, and that's what Jimbo Fisher wants. The other thing to think about here is, I want to see if Brent Venables and Clemson, are they going to maintain their aggressive nature of in the face of these receivers? Or are they going to get a little bit softer with a 7-point lead?
They rush 4. McGuire delivers far side, and again it's Green, or Christian Green this time, wide open as they play off of him.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that. They have had a lot of success getting up into the face of the Florida State receivers and making them have to work. And this time, I don't know if that was a blown coverage or what it might have been, but they're bailing. And boy, you're dealing with a quarterback that wants to get rid of the ball fast. You would think you'd want to try to challenge these receivers and be up in their face a lot more.
It's the 3rd catch of the year for the senior Christian Green. About a foot short of a first down. So McGuire on 2nd down, pressured, and has to just flip it far sideline. Juggling catch. Are they really good? No. Out of bounds, and now a late flag comes in. Williams couldn't come up with it. Did he step out of bounds and then come back in? Yeah, the hat is off of the official over there.
Well, the other thing is it's a matter of whether or not he was pushed and worked himself back to get back in bounds.
Number 80 went out of bounds and came back in the first touch of the ball. That's illegal touching on the offense. The foul is loss of down, previous spot. 3rd down.
So another costly penalty, and you move him back.
What? I mean, it looked to me like he was pushed out of bounds up at the top. Carlos Williams trying to get.
Well, they said 80. That's Carlos Williams, number 9. It wasn't the correct identification of the number. Green was nowhere near it.
Yeah, that's a little wacky there. That's crazy.
So 3rd and 1. Out of the eye. Williams stutters up in the backfield, but he does get first down yardage near midfield.
Pick up this first down. When they're throwing the ball, if you're Clemson, you need to keep an eye on 2 people for the most part. Rashad Green, who they've got the freshman matched up on, Mackenzie Alexander, and the big tight end, Nick O'Leary. Constantly rotating bodies in, staying fresh as they can stay up in that front 4.
Mario Pender's turn at tailback. They fake it to him. Beasley hitting McGuire as he throws, lofts it downfield looking for O'Leary. No flag, and then Curse with good coverage. The man who just had the interception.
We just talked about you better find Nick O'Leary. I mean, he is becoming the go-to guy. Comes in motion, a little bit of play action look, and they just try to get behind him. In fact, he had great position to be able to get behind Curse. He and Curse getting pretty physical. Curse has pretty good makeup speed, and that speed allowed him to stay that time with Nick O'Leary. But O'Leary looked like he was about to get behind him. Again, this Clemson defense, 35 and 80. You need to know where they are, and you need to make them work to get to their spot. Make the quarterback hold the football, allow the rush to get to him.
Good look for number 3 as well. Beasley almost hit the quarterback there. It's a short gain. Curse covering Green.
Another changeup by Brent Venables, only rushing 3, dropping 8. It's been pretty consistent with the different looks that they've had, mixing in different personnel groupings as Florida State makes some changes as well.
An enormous 3rd down. They need 7, just 4 of 12 tonight. And there's Beasley in the starting blocks. And Anthony. And now a timeout.
Number 51 on the offense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
And it's Bobby Hart for the 2nd time tonight. Another penalty on this O-line.
Incredible. Just incredible. We're just not used to seeing these kind of mistakes, and it's the last thing. I talked about the margin of error when you're dealing with a quarterback, and the playbook has been cut in half, maybe a quarter of what they're used to being able to call with Jameis Winston. And when you have a false start like that, you go from having a better chance at 3rd and 7 to now back to 3rd and 12.
Tigers show pressure and bring it. And McGuire fires on the sidelines, almost intercepted again by Curse. He was looking for O'Leary, but Grady Jarrett was in the quarterback's face that time.
That's the part in practice you don't know how an inexperienced quarterback's going to play. It's about the 3rd time where he's just thrown the ball up, and Jimbo Fisher is frustrated. Obviously, anybody would be frustrated with a quarterback, and that just comes with experience. I mean, he knows better. but he's back there, he's waiting. The blitz is kind of caving in on him. He still finds himself up, and he just throws it, thinking that a receiver might make a play, and he's very lucky that Kirst did intercept that, or that's a pick six.
So Beatty again. Humphreys again with a fair catch. But Clemson is going to get the ball back, up by 7 on the crowd, trying to make things difficult. Young Deshaun Watson, as the freshman quarterback, takes over inside the 20-yard line with another freshman in the backfield, and this is Adam Choice, who muscles forward for a decent first-down gain.
I think it's very important from the Clemson perspective to maintain their aggressive edge and attitude from a play-calling standpoint. You've got a quarterback for the most part has been flawless with the way he's executed, keeping in mind he's a true freshman on the road, but he's played outstanding. I think if you get conservative, you get too predictable, this is too good a defense, and you get the ball right back to Florida State. So I think you'll see Chad Morris continue to be aggressive.
He second-guessed himself, didn't he, for conservative play calling with the lead at Georgia. He said that's not what they do. Short gain, it'll set up 3rd down. And Kirk, your pregame report card, Randall McGuire, green check. Watson has been special. And the big play ratio.
Yeah, I mean, when you go on the road and you want to try to beat the #1 ranked team, and you're dealing with a backup quarterback, these are the things that I came up with. And we'll see. They still have a long way to go to be able to win it, but these 4 things gives them. If I knew if they did well in those areas, they'd have a pretty good chance to be able to win this game. We'll see how it finishes.
And the Seminole defense get the ball back, approaching the midway spot of the final quarter. 3rd and 5. Here comes pressure. They pick it up. Batted down. Incomplete. Nate Andrews got a hand in front of the tight end Seconder, and the Tigers will have to kick it away.
That's great technique by Nate Andrews. Just one of the great players on this defense. Last year had 4 interceptions, a playmaker. The technique, Chris, he's isolated one-on-one as a safety against the tight end. Keeps his right arm off of Seconder and swipes at the football with his left hand without interfering. Great play by Andrews. Gets the ball back again to Florida State.
We talked about what a playmaker Andrews is in the opener against the Cowboys. He had that pick 6 for Florida State. Pinion, kind of a rugby punt, a few steps to his right, and gets it away. And Rashad Green has to let it go, and it's an excellent kick, rolling dead back inside the 25-yard line. 57 yards on the punt. It's getting late for McGuire and the Seminoles.
It's a big win for Florida.
He scored the last 24 points. That, of course, was a pre-Jameis Winston era. Can McGuire lead the Noles back? Need a touchdown to tie. A first down throw on the far side. Wide open underneath is Rashad Green. They move the 6 to the 40.
Well, this time he waited and waited and waited for his matchup to open up. He's going to one guy, and he's waiting for Rashad Green to beat Mackenzie Alexander. Almost waited a little bit too long because Tony Stewart got to him, but he gave Green just enough time to break away from Alexander for that conversion.
McGuire a much better second half, but that one pick that he threw into traffic in Clemson territory, very costly. Another first down throw. He's got time finally, but is flushed out and dropped for a loss. A coverage sack by Corey Crawford.
This is exactly what you can't do, and it's what Jimbo Fisher, every time he comes over to the sidelines, has been talking to him about. He wants to make a play. He's trying to extend a play. There's nobody open. Just throw it. You're outside of the tackle box. Throw it into the 37th row if you want to, but you can't take a sack in this situation.
Not just a sack, a 14-yard loss. 5 sacks for the Tigers tonight. McGuire facing late pressure, delivers downfield, and wide open is Rashad Green. The DB fell down, and the Seminoles a point away from tying it. 74 yards. They waited all night for a big play.
That's been the matchup the entire night, is Rashad Green against Mackenzie Alexander. We've seen the freshman win some. This time we see the senior. On the last two plays, he's been able to get some separation. Alexander actually loses his footing, and a great throw. We've been critical. We've gotten on Sean McGuire. Let's give him some credit when he makes a good throw. He was, again, just like the last play, Chris, he was dialed in completely into this matchup right here. Watch the route and watch how he gets separation. And Alexander just loses his footing. There's a little push there, but he loses his balance. The ball is thrown, by the way, right on the money. A great throw by McGuire. Been a rough night for him. It's been a lot where he's going to be able to learn from things tonight, the good and the bad. But he's kept this team in this football game. They tie it up now with 6:04 to go.
You talked a lot, Kirk, about the risk of playing on an island against a receiver as good as Green. Alexander had done a good job until that play, and as McGuire tosses a game-tying touchdown pass, Winston sprinting to him to congratulate him, because he's going to be a target if the Noles don't win this game. You better believe number 5 wants him to come back and win it.
That's a week's worth of emotion coming out of Jameis Winston right there. Excited that Green, his guy, makes a play, and he's thinking not only about this game, he's thinking about that national championship opportunity and trying to hope that this team can stay in the mix for that. What a play there by Sean McGuire, and also the offensive line, the much maligned offensive line, giving McGuire enough time, because that play took some time to develop.
Here's the kickoff. It's returnable for C.J. Davidson. And the track star brought down at the 17. He'd been left him alone before that drive, but encouragement afterward. And Rashad Green just continues to torment Clemson. Kirk, that's the 5th career touchdown for Green against the Tigers, and he's now got 29 catches against them in his career.
Well, he's stoic, and he's a great leader and a great player. But boy, these storylines, just it's one to another. Now the ball goes back to another true freshman, an inexperienced quarterback in Deshaun Watson, with a game tied on the road against the #1 ranked team in the country with 6 minutes to go.
Handing off and hitting the backfield as Gallman is DeMarcus Walker in to replace Mario Edwards. Makes a big play.
He's been getting upfield quite a bit, Chris, and one time it cost him. This time he just shoots. He saw Gallman coming from the opposite side. He's looked at it all week in practice, and he knew that there's the chance. And it's his responsibility that when they give the ball in the jet sweep, take it away, and that time he did. And now the crowd is a big factor.
On 2nd and 15, Watson back to throw, delivers across the middle, low, catch made. Sharon Peak went down near the turf and collects a huge first down gain.
Boy, what a throw. And again, these Florida State linebackers, this time it was Reggie Northrup, number 5. Great effort there by Peak.
You'd think they'd look at that, his hands trying to get underneath the football before it hit the ground.
Ruling on the field is catch.
We've had some close replays tonight. Burden of proof. Of course, crowd, you got to look at it in the board. They don't think it was a catch, but they're a little biased. But the hands go under the ball here.
It looks like a catch to me.
Don't see enough there to turn it over.
Here's a good look.
It's close. His hands are really right on the ground.
Yeah, it looks like his fingers, man. This is another good look.
Does that football hit the ground, though? That is very close.
Based on all the looks we've seen so far, I think his fingers are under the football. We'll see.
If it had been called incomplete, probably not enough to overturn it. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Whichever way it would be called on the field, based on what we're looking at.
Is this indisputable? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Tiger receivers didn't always come up with the easy catches against Georgia.
Review, ruling on the field stands. Catch. First down.
But how about the catch by Mike Williams to set up the touchdown, and now that one by Peak?
Well, all the focus is on did he catch it or did he not. What's missed is you've got Deshaun Watson back there with the entire stadium coming down on top of him, and this fast defense coming down on top of him, and he makes a big throw with his back against his own end zone.
Quarterback keeper. Watson's chased down. Chris Casher got him.
I'll tell you, Chris Casher has been a busy guy. He and also DeMarcus Walker. Mario Edwards out. DeMarcus Walker has had to step up. We've seen Casher, who's got great pass rushing ability, but he's been making some plays out in space. Getting long and lean at 6'4", 250. He and Walker both on the edge here.
Watson still hasn't made a big play with his legs tonight. Delivers over the middle and complete in traffic. Williams well covered. So third down again. They need 7 this time. Tough to challenge P.J. Williams in a big spot.
This is where you look for matchups either against safeties or linebackers if there's one-on-one coverage. Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator from Florida State. He's an aggressive coach. He likes to mix up looks on third down. He likes to bring pressure. Let's see if they bring pressure here and try to attack the Clemson offensive line and get after this quarterback.
They do bring pressure. Off the edge. Watson hit as he throws. Got it away. Had a man open, but couldn't come up with it. Jalen Ramsey was charging toward him.
I was just going to say, look out for Jalen Ramsey. Remember LaMarcus Joyner last year? How many times did we see him blitz from that very spot to cause problems for Clemson's offense? Nobody picks him up, forces Watson to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and if he was able to hold on to it just a little bit longer, he had a chance for maybe great pressure, great time to bring it from Charles Kelly.
Little high for Gallman and a missed opportunity. So now another rugby punt coming up from Pinion. This time Green, well, he just get a back pedal. Another excellent punt. Pinning the Knowles deep. 4:11 to play. And Sean McGuire off the touchdown pass to Green goes back to work. 10 years sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. All-State making contributions to the participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. More than $3.4 million since 2005 in scholarship funds. Sean McGuire, a moment that you dream about if you're a quarterback. A rough start. Harassed, hit, but a much better second half. And now a tie game with 4:10 to play. And the nation's longest winning streak on the line.
How about that? 21 of 38 for 305 yards after the way this game started in that first half.
74 of them on the long completion to Green. This is Williams still waiting to make a big play on the ground. Breaks a tackle, spins for a first down. Hey, that's a huge running back play tonight for Florida State by their standards.
You can almost feel the energy in the stadium and the momentum on the field changing over the last sequence of the last couple series, Chris. It just feels like Florida State's offense is gaining in confidence, and this Clemson defense, which has been the aggressor most of the night, is more on their heels here these last couple series.
Pender tries to cut it back. Hit for a loss.
That time.
Ball comes out, no fumble. Remember, this is what happened to this defense against Georgia in the fourth quarter.
Exactly right.
They vowed to finish this time, to not get worn down.
That's exactly right. And that time we just talked about them being on their heels. How about the big fella, DJ Reader, 6'2", 325 pounds. You can see that Mario Pender is coming over to be looked at.
He's bleeding from the mouth there. He's got some sod in the face mask.
It's a big hit. Big collision. Crawford's there, he sets the edge, and then both, you see the linebacker Stewart gets in there, but it was the big hit from Reader. As I said, over 325 pounds. It hits the much smaller Mario Pender, only 190.
So Pender out, Cook and Williams in on second down. And this is Dalvin Cook, talented true freshman. They got his first carries of his career against the Citadel.
Just a big picture comment. Who knows how this game's going to end, but should give Sean McGuire a lot of credit for what he's had to deal with this whole week and the way this game has unfolded. Kid showed a lot of guts and toughness to be able to withstand everything that he's had to deal with, not just from an XO standpoint, but the pressure to step in for the leader in Jameis Winston and give his team a chance with 2.5 minutes to go, tied up 17-17.
3rd and 11. Got to be very careful with your decision making if you're McGuire here. Tigers only rush 3. Fired over the middle, and it's picked off. Yep, he overthrew the receiver. And Jadar Johnson is going to give Clemson good field position. Run out at the 26. Again, trying to make a play, forcing it over the middle, Kurt.
Yeah, he forced it over the middle to Bobo Wilson. A timing route. Just when we talked about, hey, it's been that kind of night. Up and down for McGuire. Over the middle, high. And when you throw it over the middle high, it's not going to work out. And the receiver, Bobo Wilson's only 5'9". But he sails it over top of him, and again, there's another Clemson safety waiting. We saw Curse make an interception earlier. This time it's Jadar Johnson, and it gives Clemson really good field position here late in this ball game.
Johnson, who had a pick 6 win over South Carolina State, gives Watson a chance. Remember how shaky the Tigers' field goal kicking has been, though. Quarterback keeper on the edge, and finally, that's really the most productive run Watson's had tonight.
What you just said about the field goal kicking, if you and I are thinking about that, everybody at home watching, everybody in the stands, you know Dabo Swinney's thinking about that. So with 2 minutes to go in a game, it's not just about, hey, let's get it in field goal range. Let's try to get in the middle of the field. Let's try to put it in the end zone and not have to worry about the mindset of a field goal kicker.
If you had Aguayo, it would be a totally different deal.
No doubt.
But they've missed 2 of 3 tonight. And Morris and then the Tigers bleed that play clock down to 5. Watson gets the snap, and it is Davidson who has a first down. Ball comes out. Seminoles jump on it. Turnover, Florida State.
Chris, I thought Eddie Goldman gets his arm in there, and I think he knocked that football loose, and Nate Andrews jumped on top of it. The big man, Eddie Goldman, the playmaker, right there, right in front of you, number 90. Watch his left arm. He gets his hand on it, knocks it loose, and then the aggressive Florida State defense pounces on the football to get it back to Sean McGuire.
How many mistakes, how many squandered opportunities for the underdog Tigers tonight. If they don't come out with a win, it'll be very, very painful. McGuire says, wait a minute, my pick's not going to cost us the game? Let's get back out there.
Yeah, let's go. That's Randy Sanders, his quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. Boy, what an emotional night, emotional week for Florida State.
They're reviewing this, but it looked like Davidson clearly lost the ball.
That's definitely a fumble.
After further review, ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Florida State.
They've gone deep into the game without a turnover.
Now you've got 1:36. You've got a quarterback that's been a little shaky up and down, but you remember you got one of the best field goal kickers in the country with 3 timeouts, with a head coach that prides himself in these kind of situations. Be shocked if they just sit on it and go into overtime. Yes, I would. I think
you get to Clemson 40, I think, to get in reasonable field goal range.
You give your quarterback some easy throws, some throws that he has confidence in.
Can he get it 46 yards in 1:36 and 3 timeouts to play with? It's a first down run for Williams, who hammers straight ahead. And the crowd beginning to stir. Not too sure that Fisher's going to go for points here.
If he ends up doing this, it speaks volumes about 2 things. The confidence that he has in a quarterback that's playing tonight, and the understanding that his kicker versus the Clemson kicker is going to give him a huge advantage in overtime.
He just said slow down, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's not looking.
He's great. He wants to go in overtime and take his chances with the field goal kicking is a clear advantage for Florida State.
Here's a big difference, though, in this game if it's number 5 and not number 10. If you got Winston out there, you got Aguayo, you're going for it.
Sure, of course. And I even thought just because of the pride that Jimbo Fisher has as an offensive coach and a play caller, just tells you how rocky it's been tonight with Sean McGuire back there. And it's not Sean McGuire's fault. He's just an inexperienced guy.
He's done some good things. The touchdown pass to Green, but I think you're right. There's been that couple of bad decisions made. The throws, as you said, over the middle, too risky. Inside of 25 seconds. And we're going to go to extra time here in Tallahassee. Huge for the ACC Atlantic Division. The chances to win the conference title. The #1 ranking. Perhaps down the road, the spot in the playoff all the line. The nation's longest winning streak here. We'll take a timeout with 11 seconds to go. But when we're done here, there will be lots to talk about in the Ford wrap-up after the game with Robert Flores.
Well, it's been an eventful evening tonight with some of these scores that have come in too.
LSU hammered at home. It's a milestone win for Dan Mullen and the Bulldogs in Baton Rouge. And now we go to overtime. And clearly, Florida State has an edge in the kicking department. But which offense is in better shape?
Think about the red zone tonight for Clemson. Think about, and we'll look up the numbers just to be clear, but they've been twice inside the 5-yard line and came away with no points. So I think Dabo Swinney, he's got to come up with a way to get his quarterback, Deshaun Watson, be able to attack and be aggressive. But I think the reason Jimbo Fisher has decided to take this thing in overtime, Chris, it has everything to do with the way his defense has performed in the red zone and also with the way the kicking game has gone tonight. He'd take his chances.
So that's it. He played 60 minutes. Overtime coming up at Doak Campbell Stadium. 5 fingers in the air. Back after this message and a word from your local ABC station. Each team will get at least one possession from the 25-yard line, of course, until a winner is decided.
The winner of the toss will have the option of offense, defense, or end of the field they'll play. What's your call going to be? Tails. Clemson is called tails. It is heads. Florida State has won the toss. Your offense, defense, or end of the field? Defense. You want defense? You want go this end of the field? Turn your back here. First down, Clemson, 25-yard line.
Seminoles win the toss. The Tigers will get the ball first. All the controversy, all the plot twists this week in Tallahassee, and it comes down to this. 2 quarterbacks who had very, very little meaningful experience coming into tonight going to lead their offense to an OT win.
We'll see if Clemson, who's been inside the red zone tonight 6 times, they had a couple touchdowns, a field goal, but 2 missed field goals and a fumble. And a couple times they were down inside the 5-yard line, came away with nothing. So we'll see how they perform down at in these overtime periods. And let's see if they give Deshaun Watson a chance on throwing the ball vertically, even though you're down inside this red zone. Look for some matchups, one-on-one matchups. Again, he's going to get a lot of man-to-man coverage in this part of the field from Florida State.
And they go with a veteran tailback, DJ Howard, replacing Davidson, who fumbled at the end of regulation. It's play action. Watson dumps it off in traffic on the near sidelines. Initially had Williams running a post.
And it was open. I think the Florida State linebackers all night have had a tough time in coverage. I think their eyes are mesmerized on Deshaun Watson, and it's leaving a big vacancy behind them in coverage from about that 10 to 18-yard range over the middle of their defense. There have been some big, big holes to try to attack.
Young quarterback did not pull the trigger that time on first down. Another throw on second down. Pressure, grabbed, drop for a loss. First sack of the night for the Seminoles, and it's Eddie Goldman who got him.
Eddie Goldman ends up getting the sack, but it was really the coverage downfield. Watson's looking off to his right. He gives up on the route, starts to try to make something happen, but it's great coverage this time from the Noles. And there's Eddie Goldman. We're in overtime, and he's not giving up.
All the field goal troubles tonight. Extra urgency for this 3rd and 14 play. Humphries in motion. Watson dumps it off in a screen. Choice has room. Swerving down near the marker. Now a decision to make. He's short outside the 15. Do you kick the field goal? Do you go for it?
I think the way their kicking game has gone tonight, I think you go for it. You try to do it with tempo. I wouldn't even hesitate.
Offense on the field.
How about that? How about that well-designed play and a really good effort that time by the freshman to keep his balance after he made that catch.
Choice is made. That's Bradley Pinion. He's their punter and long-distance field goal kicker, but it's been a rough night for Ammon Lacob, who's missed 2 of 3. One early, an ugly duck hook.
Yeah, this was the first series, and I think that really started to weigh on him emotionally, and then he ends up pushing one to the right, and then we saw him later with a towel over his head and just despondent almost over there. And
Pinion's a tall kicker. He's 6'6", junior, Concord, North Carolina.
He's the punter, but he's also their long distance field goal kicker. So,
but tonight he's also their short distance field goal kicker.
I think you go for it. You're playing a #1 ranked team on the road. Remember, short yardage has been a problem for them. Whether let's see if they go under center, or they're going to do the shotgun snap. A quarterback sneak would be the safest play, but it looks like they're going to be back in the shotgun.
4th and goal. If the Noles get a stop, all they need is an Aguayo field goal to win it. Choice, the freshman. Hit! Short! Sweeney gambled, but Chris Hasher and the Noles defense makes him pay.
And guess who made the play on the right side? Eddie Goldman. Watch the push here and the effort in overtime by Eddie Goldman. Getting the push and then getting his hands on it and let the linebackers, Northrup and Smith, clean it up. But it's the push into the backfield by Eddie Goldman, and then you see the linebackers, both the big guys, Reggie Northrup and Terrence Smith, cleaning it up.
And it's Casher who got there as well.
Yep. Yeah. Surprised by that play call.
So the Seminoles just need a field goal kicker from perhaps one of the best ever to do that, to win it. Williams, though, breaking free. Carlos Williams barreling down to the 11. Maybe they won't need the kicker. Any score wins it. Tiger defense must really try to dig deep here. Williams again, cuts it back. Carlos Williams headed for the end zone. The Seminoles survive. And the winning streak stretches to 19. Outplayed much of the night on their home field. Fisher and the Seminoles once again make enough plays, defensively and offensively, to break Clemson hearts one more time.